Chapter 1791. Lu Qingwan actually knew the result, but she was hoping that a miracle would happen. Lu Wenlong's words completely shattered the last trace of hope in her heart. A line of clear tears flowed from Lu Qingwan's eyes. Seeing Lu Qingwan like this, Lu Wenlong's heart ached and he was angry. Even though he was a gentle and refined person, he couldn't help but be angry at Ling Xiao. At the same time, he was filled with guilt. If he didn't want the Heart Core Sutra so badly, he wouldn't have taken the risk and ended up in such an irreversible situation. Sister Qingwan, don't be so sad. Be happy. You're going to marry me. You'll look better if you smile. Xiao Yun walked in front of Lu Qingwan and said with a burning gaze. Scram! A cold light flashed in Lu Wenlong's eyes. A vast aura erupted from his body, causing Xiao Yun's body to tremble. Fear appeared in his eyes as he quickly retreated. Lu Wenlong, what's the point of bullying my brother? If you want to fight, I can accompany you for a few moves. But after a while, I'm afraid we'll be in-laws. Xiao Rui said coldly. He stood in front of Xiao Yun and exuded a powerful aura that wasn't weaker than Lu Wenlong's as he confronted Lu Wenlong. Xiao Rui, no one knows the result. If you're so sure, be careful of being slapped in the face. Then your Xiao family will look bad. Lu Wenlong said coldly. In my opinion, the result is already confirmed. Even you and I can't pass such a harsh certification test. Do you really think that Zhao Ritian can pass? What a fool's dream. Xiao Rui sneered. Gotcha. At this moment, the door of the secret room slowly opened. Ling Xiao was the first to walk out of the secret room. He looked very weak. His face was slightly pale, and his breathing was chaotic as if his vitality was greatly damaged. Ha! I said that Zhao Ritian would definitely fail. Look, he came out with his tail between his legs, right? He wants to refine the 5 elements Saint Pill? He really doesn't know what's good for him. Xiao Yun laughed loudly when he saw Ling Xiao. His face was full of mockery. It seems that he really failed. Everyone sighed softly. 6 days wasn't enough time to concoct the 5 elements holy pill. Ling Xiao must have failed the assessment if he walked out of the secret room at this time. Lu Wenlong and Lu Qingwan's faces turned extremely pale in an instant. The last shred of hope in their hearts was shattered. Sister Qingwan, after you marry me, I will definitely love you dearly. Xiao Yun stared at Lu Qingwan and said. His eyes were burning with lust. When he thought of Lu Qingwan's porcelain-like skin and curvy figure, Xiao Yun's entire body burned. Xiao Yun, you want to marry Fairy Qingwan? What a fool's dream. Get out of my way. A good dog doesn't block the way. Ling Xiao suddenly raised his head and looked at Xiao Yun as he spoke indifferently. Zhao Ritian, you're courting death. Xiao Yun's gaze turned cold. Seeing that Ling Xiao dared to speak to him in such a manner after failing the test, he was instantly enraged. A powerful aura pressed down on Ling Xiao. The crowd could not help but frown. They felt that this Zhao Ritian was too arrogant. He had already failed the assessment and yet he still dared to stand out. Clang, 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 clang. At this moment, 9 clear bell rings resounded throughout the entire Pill and Talisman Academy, causing everyone's hearts to tremble involuntarily. The Pill Rune Bell has rung 9 times. Someone has advanced to become a 9-star Alchemy Grandmaster or 9-star Talisman Grandmaster. Everyone's body trembled, and their eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. The Pill Rune Bell of the Pill and Talisman Academy would only ring when someone advanced to become a Grandmaster. There were 7 rings for 7 stars, 8 rings for 8 stars, and 9 rings for 9 stars. Now that the Pill Rune Bell had rung 9 times, it meant that someone in the Pill and Talisman Academy had advanced to become a 9-star Alchemy Grandmaster or 9-star Talisman Grandmaster. This was a supreme honor. Could it be? Everyone's eyes were filled with disbelief, and they could not help but look at Ling Xiao. Why are you all looking at him? He has already failed the assessment. It's impossible for him to advance to a 9-star Alchemy Grandmaster. I think someone in the Talisman Academy should have advanced to a 9-star Talisman Grandmaster. Xiao Yun felt that something was amiss, and he immediately scolded everyone. At this moment, Wang Hong and the two elders from the Lu and Xiao families walked out of the secret chamber. The reason why they were late was that the three of them had to ring the pill rune bell together. Congratulations, Grandmaster Zhao. Congratulations, Grandmaster Zhao. Congratulations, Grandmaster Zhao. Wang Hong and the two elders cupped their hands at Ling Xiao, and their eyes were filled with incomparable respect. Everyone was instantly petrified. Grandmaster Zhao? What did that mean? Could it be that the pill rune bell had rung 9 times because of Zhao Ritian? Brother Zhao, you've passed the 9-star alchemy Grandmaster certification test. Lu Wenlong's body trembled, and he could not hide the joy in his eyes. He hurriedly looked at Ling Xiao and asked. Although Lu Qinghuan did not speak, he was also extremely excited at this moment. He looked at Ling Xiao nervously, waiting to hear the answer from Ling Xiao. Fortunately, I did not disappoint you. Ling Xiao cupped his hands at Lu Wenlong and smiled slightly. It was really him. Everyone had a surreal feeling, as if they were dreaming. Their eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. They originally thought that Ling Xiao had failed the certification test, but how did he suddenly become a 9-star alchemy grandmaster? Could it be that he had really refined the 5 elements Saint Pill in 6 days? Impossible. That's impossible. You must have cheated. It would take at least a few months to refine the 5 elements Saint Pill. How could he have completed it in 6 days? All of you deserve to die. Xiao Yun roared. His eyes were bloodshot, and his handsome face was extremely distorted. He could not accept this result at all. Young Master Xiao, even if you're a disciple of the Xiao family, the Pill and Talisman Academy will not allow you to behave so atrociously here. Zhao Ritian used the Zhou Tian Divine Dragon Cauldron refining technique to refine the 5 elements Saint Pill. The 3 of us witnessed it together. This is the 5 elements Saint Pill. Feel free to come and take a look. Wang Hong's gaze turned cold as he spoke slowly to the crowd. Wang Hong exuded a powerful aura, and everyone couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. Only now did they remember that Wang Hong wasn't just an 8-star alchemist grandmaster, he was also a 9th Revolution half-true saint expert. Wang Hong represented the Pill and Talisman Academy and the Pill and Talisman Mountain. He did not want to offend the Xiao family, but it did not mean that he did not dare to offend the Xiao family. Chapter 1792. Xiao Yun stepped back. Xiao Rui saw that Xiao Yun's face was red as if he wanted to say something. He couldn't help but frown and stop him. The Pill and Talisman Academy of Taishan City had a pivotal position in the entire Pill Talisman Mountain, especially the dean of the Pill and Talisman Academy. Even the heads of the Lu and Xiao families attached great importance to him, so Xiao Rui didn't want the Xiao family to offend the Pill and Talisman Academy because of Xiao Yun. It seems that I have misjudged you. Zhao Ritian, you can use Zhou Tian's Divine Dragon Cauldron refining technique to refine 5 elements sacred elixirs. You are indeed a genius in alchemy. I will remember you. Xiao Rui looked deeply at Ling Xiao and said expressionlessly, It is my honor to be remembered by Mr. Xiao. But the winner of this bet must have been determined, right? When will Mr. Xiao take out the heart elixir scripture? Ling Xiao smiled faintly as if he didn't notice the threat in Xiao Rui's words. The heart elixir scripture. I will naturally give it to junior brother Lu. I don't need you to remind me. When it came to the heart elixir scripture, Xiao Rui's face couldn't help but twitch, and there was a trace of pain in his eyes. That's good. Ling Xiao said faintly. Brother Zhao, I didn't expect you to be able to refine 5 elements sacred elixirs with Zhou Tian's Divine Dragon Cauldron refining technique. You are indeed a 9-star alchemy grandmaster. It seems that I have misjudged you. Thank you very much this time. Lu Wenlong recovered from his shock and cupped his hands respectfully towards Ling Xiao, feeling both ashamed and grateful. He was ashamed for doubting Ling Xiao and even resenting him, but he was also grateful to Ling Xiao for helping him win this bet. Not only did Lu Qinghuan not have to marry Xiao Yun, but he also got the heart elixir scripture of the Xiao family. Brother Lu is too polite. I still have to thank Brother Lu for trusting me. Without Brother Lu, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to enter the Alchemy Pavilion and participate in the Alchemy Certification exam. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He had a good impression of Lu Wenlong. He was used to the scheming and deceit between cultivators. Lu Wenlong's trust was especially precious to Ling Xiao. This was a kind and honest person who was worth befriending. Brother Zhao's words really make me feel ashamed. Many people who can enter the alchemy pavilion, but only to become a 9-star alchemy grandmaster with such peerless talent. Lu Wenlong said seriously. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Lu Wenlong probably didn't know the true meaning of the alchemy pavilion to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had obtained a vast amount of alchemy knowledge from the alchemy pavilion. The Divine Dragon Cauldron refining technique and the 5 elements St. Pill formula were all obtained from the alchemy pavilion. If it wasn't for the alchemy pavilion, Ling Xiao wouldn't have been able to pass this assessment. This Lu. Thank you. To tease to me to thank you Titus. To me. To me to. Ling Xiao looked at Lu Qingwan with a smile and said, "This spoiled little pepper now looked thinner. She must have experienced a lot of psychological torture and suffering these days." It could be said that she had helped Ling Xiao vent his anger, which made Ling Xiao feel a little happy in his heart. "I mean, thank you." Lu Qingwan was furious when she saw Ling Xiao's expression. She wanted to pounce on him and bite him a few times, but she held herself back in the end. She was getting more and more curious about Ling Xiao. Who was this Zhao Ritian? Sometimes, he looked arrogant and as annoying as those disciples of the aristocratic families. But sometimes, his strong confidence was admirable. Lu Qingwan was getting more and more confused about who was the real Ling Xiao. "You're welcome. Why would I let you marry that bastard Xiao Yun? He's not worthy of you. Although you're still young and have no breasts or buttocks," Ling Xiao said with a smile. The first half of his sentence warmed Lu Qingwan's heart. She was very touched. But when she heard the second half of his sentence, she immediately went berserk. "Who's young? Who has no breasts or buttocks? Zhao Ritian, explain it clearly." Lu Qingwan gritted her teeth and said. Her eyes were filled with shame and anger. She couldn't help but straighten her chest like a cute little lion. "You're indeed not young." Pa. Ling Xiao glanced at Lu Qingwan and couldn't help but laugh. Only then did Lu Qingwan realize that she was being teased by Ling Xiao. Her face immediately turned red and she hated Ling Xiao to the core. When Xiao Yun saw Ling Xiao and Lu Qingwan flirting in the distance, his heart burned with anger. He looked at Ling Xiao with a gaze filled with cold, killing intent. It was as if it was real and undisguised. It's fine if you don't provoke me. But if you really don't know what's good for you, so what if you're the young master of the Xiao family?" Ling Xiao also noticed the killing intent in Xiao Yun's eyes and couldn't help but sneer in his heart. The 5 elements sacred pill had been inspected by many alchemists. They could all see that it was indeed a 5 elements sacred pill. Moreover, its quality was excellent. It emitted a powerful 5 elements Tao true meaning. There was also a trace of the aura of a pill tribulation on it. It was a sign that it had just been refined. There was no possibility of cheating. Using Zhou Tian's Divine Dragon Cauldron refining technique to refine a 5 elements sacred pill and directly become a 9-star alchemy grandmaster. This Zhao Ritian will probably be famous in no time. That's right. It seems like the pill talisman ceremony this time will be a fierce battle. Other than the geniuses of the 4 big families, this Zhao Ritian also has a high chance of becoming the champion. You really can't judge a book by its cover. This time, we have all misjudged him. The pill talisman bell rang 9 times. Amazing, amazing! Everyone was discussing animatedly. Their eyes were filled with shock and respect as they looked at Ling Xiao. A 9-star alchemy grandmaster was extremely rare. Therefore, their status was extremely high. Ling Xiao had won everyone's respect with his strength. "Grandmaster Zhao, this is your pill talisman armlet. With this, you can participate in the pill talisman ceremony. In the future, you will be able to enjoy the resources of the Pill Talisman Academy in any Dao Talisman Academy. Moreover, there will be great discounts." Wang Hong took out a golden armlet. There was a red cauldron engraved on it. It was surrounded by 9 golden stars. It shone brilliantly and was crystal clear. It was the symbol of a 9-star alchemy grandmaster. Originally, Wang Hong was unable to preside over the 9-star alchemy grandmaster certification assessment as an 8-star alchemy grandmaster. However, Ling Xiao was able to become a 9-star alchemy grandmaster directly because he had refined a 5-elements sacred pill. Therefore, the assessment was much more important. This was why Wang Hong was asked to recruit Ling Xiao. After all, every 9-star alchemy grandmaster represented the future pill saint. They were extremely valuable. Even the 12 immortal sanctuaries would lower themselves to recruit them. This was especially so for Zhao Ritian. Although his identity was mysterious, he had yet to join any major forces. This made him even more valuable. "Thank you, Vice Dean Wang." Ling Xiao smiled and took the pill talisman armlet. Chapter 1793. Zhao Ritian, I want to challenge you. Xiao Yun suddenly raised his head. His eyes were bloodshot as he stared at Ling Xiao and roared. Rumble. His whole body was exuding an incomparably terrifying aura fluctuation. His cultivation of 5th Revolution half-step sage had erupted. His entire body had become extremely frightening. Xiao Yun hated Ling Xiao to the core. In his opinion, he was sure to win this bet. Lu Qingwan, whom he yearned for day and night, would be able to marry him directly. However, it was all because of Ling Xiao that he suffered a crushing defeat. Xiao Yun could be said to have experienced great ups and downs. There were several times when he thought that Ling Xiao would definitely not become a 7-star alchemy grandmaster. However, the final result was something that he could not accept at all. Therefore, he could not help but want to challenge Ling Xiao directly. Xiao Rui's eyes flashed, but he did not stop Xiao Yun. Xiao Yun was a cultivation genius. He was courageous and diligent. However, he suffered a great loss at the hands of Ling Xiao today. Xiao Rui could feel that Ling Xiao had left a shadow in Xiao Yun's heart. Xiao Yun needed to vent so that it would not affect his future cultivation. Xiao Yun, do you have any shame? You are already a 5th transformation half-saint, while Zhao Ritian is only a 2nd transformation half-saint. How dare you challenge him? Before Ling Xiao could speak, Lu Qingwan stood out and said angrily to Xiao Yun. Seeing that Lu Qingwan was protecting Ling Xiao, Xiao Yun was even more furious. He stared at Ling Xiao and said, Zhao Ritian, are you still a man? What kind of ability is it to hide behind a woman? As long as you dare to fight with me, I will suppress my cultivation. If you don't dare to, get out of Taishan City as soon as possible. You want to challenge me? Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. There was a hint of a smile in his eyes. He really admired Xiao Yun's courage. That's right. I want to challenge you, Lu Qingwan. I want to show you that I am the only one who is worthy of you. After all, strength is everything in this world. What is a mere 9-star alchemy grandmaster? I can beat him into a dead dog. Xiao Yun's eyes were filled with coldness. Xiao Yun, private fights are prohibited in Taishan City. If you want to fight, I can suppress my cultivation and exchange a few moves with you. Lu Wenlong frowned and said faintly. Brother Lu, the fight between Xiao Yun and Zhao Ritian is not personal. It is a real challenge. I advise you not to interfere. Why don't I exchange a few blows with Brother Lu? Xiao Rui's eyes flashed as he said indifferently. Is Brother Xiao determined to stand up for Xiao Yun? Then I would really like to experience Brother Zhao's brilliant moves. Lu Wenlong said slowly, his gaze calm and indifferent. Boom! Powerful auras erupted from Xiao Rui and Lu Wenlong's bodies. Immediately, they began to confront each other in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. Everyone couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. Could it be that Xiao Rui and Lu Wenlong were really going to have a huge battle? These two people were geniuses of alchemy. However, their cultivations were also very high. They had already reached the 7th Revolution half-saint realm. So, their every move contained great power. Brother Lu, let me do it. Ling Xiao slowly said. Then he walked out and looked at Xiao Yun. Very good. Xiao Yun, since you want to fight, then let's fight. How could Ling Xiao not see that Xiao Yun wanted to regain his lost face through him? Unfortunately, Ling Xiao wasn't a pushover. Xiao Yun had kicked an iron plate. Zhao Ritian, don't be rash. Xiao Yun is extremely strong. Even though he's only a 5th revolution half-saint, he's once killed a 6th revolution half-saint. Lu Qingwan said anxiously. She knew that although Ling Xiao was very talented in alchemy, he was only a 2nd revolution half-saint. Even if Xiao Yun suppressed his cultivation, Ling Xiao might not be a match for Xiao Yun. Don't worry. Trust me. Ling Xiao said calmly. Very good. Zhao Ritian, I didn't expect you to be a man. Then, come to the Alchemy and Talisman Academy's arena with me. Don't worry. I promise I won't kill you. Xiao Yun said with a sinister smile. Taishan City prohibited private fights. If there were any grievances that needed to be settled, they had to fight in the Taishan City's arena. However, there was also an arena in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. Xiao Yun originally thought that Ling Xiao wouldn't dare to accept his challenge. He just wanted to taunt and ridicule him to regain some face. He didn't expect Ling Xiao to actually accept the challenge. This was exactly what he wanted. He had already decided that he would destroy Ling Xiao's cultivation in the arena. He would let Ling Xiao experience what it meant to beg for death. Brother Zhao, be careful. Lu Wenlong said seriously. He knew that Ling Xiao was a very opinionated person, so he didn't try to persuade him. However, he secretly decided that as long as Ling Xiao was in danger, he would definitely choose to intervene. Don't worry. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He walked out with Xiao Yun and entered the Alchemy and Talisman Academy's arena. Although Zhao Ritian is a 9-star alchemy grandmaster, his cultivation is only a 2nd revolution half-saint. I really don't know where he got his confidence from to accept Xiao Yun's challenge so easily. Everyone sighed. There was a trace of sympathy and pity in their eyes. After all, he was still young and hot-blooded. After being provoked by words, he immediately agreed. Xiao Yun's combat strength is extremely strong. This time, Zhao Ritian is in danger. The Alchemy and Talisman Academy shouldn't let Zhao Ritian suffer too much, right? However, one thing is for sure. Zhao Ritian will definitely lose. That's right. Zhao Ritian is still too unwise. Even if Xiao Yun suppressed his cultivation, he still went through 5 nirvana tribulations. His physical body is extremely strong. It's not something that ordinary people can contend with. Everyone discussed softly. Naturally, they weren't optimistic about Ling Xiao's chances. The two of you can fight in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy's arena. However, both of you are people of status. I hope that both of you will not go overboard. Why don't we limit it to 10 moves? As long as one side concedes, the battle will immediately end. Wang Hong also stepped into the arena and said to Ling Xiao and Xiao Yun. He was the deputy dean of the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. Naturally, he would act as the temporary referee for the battle between Ling Xiao and Xiao Yun. Although he felt that Ling Xiao's decision was unwise, since Ling Xiao and Xiao Yun had decided to fight in the arena, he couldn't say anything. Xiao Yun frowned slightly. He naturally understood that Wang Hong was siding with Ling Xiao. He couldn't help but snort coldly and said, 10 moves is enough. Thank you, Deputy Dean Wang. 10 moves is indeed enough. If he doesn't admit defeat, 10 moves are enough for me to kill him. Ling Xiao said with a smile. His expression was calm and indifferent. Everyone was speechless. You want to defeat Xiao Yun in 10 moves? Zhao Ritian started to spout nonsense again. This was different from the alchemy certification test. This was a battle of life and death. Even with Wang Hong's restrictions and Xiao Yun couldn't kill him, he definitely wouldn't let Zhao Ritian off so easily. Chapter 1794. Brother, Zhao Ritian will be fine, right? Xiao Yun is ruthless and holds a grudge against him. I'm afraid he won't let him off so easily. Lu Qingwan said worriedly. Don't worry. Zhao Ritian is now a 9-star alchemy grandmaster. Senior brother Wang won't let him suffer too much. Moreover, didn't you notice? Zhao Ritian isn't an arrogant person. Why would he accept Xiao Yun's challenge just because of Xiao Yun's words? Lu Wenlong said with a smile, his eyes revealing a wisp of wisdom. You mean? Lu Qingwan suddenly trembled. The reason why Zhao Ritian dared to accept Xiao Yun's challenge is because he is confident that he can fight with Xiao Yun and even defeat Xiao Yun. Lu Wenlong said with a deep meaning. How is that possible? Lu Qingwan's eyes were filled with disbelief as he muttered. For true geniuses, nothing is impossible. Perhaps Zhao Ritian is a true genius. Although I find it hard to believe, I'm afraid that's the truth. Let's wait and see. Lu Wenlong said slowly. In the arena, Xiao Yun had taken the initiative to seal his cultivation, suppressing it to the second revolution half-saint realm. His eyes were red, and his expression was cold. He was like a wild beast that was about to devour its prey as he glared at Ling Xiao. Make your move. Otherwise, you won't have the chance to. Ling Xiao said indifferently as he stood calmly in the arena. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Murderous intent flashed in Xiao Yun's eyes as he pounced on Ling Xiao. Boom! There seemed to be blazing flames rising around him, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. Xiao Yun was wrapped in monstrous flames as he slammed his palm down on Ling Xiao. This palm contained a vast true meaning of flames that seemed to be able to burn the heavens and destroy the earth. At the same time, Xiao Yun's skin turned crimson gold and flowed with resplendent light that contained explosive power. Xiao Yun indeed has the Crimson Flame Battle Constitution. Not only can he control the origin of flames, but his physical body is also extremely terrifying. Someone exclaimed as his eyes were filled with shock. The Scarlet Flame Battle physique was a powerful physique of the Xiao family. It was rumored that the reason why Xiao Yun's battle prowess was monstrous was because he possessed the Scarlet Flame Battle physique. Moreover, his bloodline was close to atavism, so his physical body was extremely powerful. 5 Nirvana tribulations plus the Scarlet Flame Battle physique, Xiao Yun's physical body is extremely terrifying. Although he has suppressed his cultivation, it doesn't affect his combat strength that is comparable to a 5th revolution half-saint. Lu Wenlong's eyes flashed as he slowly said, That bastard Xiao Yun is simply shameless. Lu Qingwan said through gritted teeth. Just as Xiao Yun's palm was about to envelop Ling Xiao, the flames that filled the sky burned the heavens. There was a kind of energy fluctuation that could turn everything into dust. Ling Xiao moved. A majestic dragon's roar erupted from Ling Xiao's body, resounding through the heavens. Ling Xiao's body emitted a golden glow, and a vast dragon's might erupted. A divine light flashed in his eyes, and then he threw a punch at Xiao Yun. Crack! Golden lightning rose. In an instant, Ling Xiao was like a primordial divine dragon that had awakened from a deep slumber. That invincible aura that looked down on everything made everyone tremble. When the fist and palm collided, the void rumbled violently. The flames that filled the sky were swept away, and only a crisp sound could be heard. Xiao Yun was sent flying back at an even faster speed. A bloody light flashed in the void, and one of Xiao Yun's arms exploded into a bloody mist. His entire body let out a muffled groan and smashed heavily into the distant arena. The entire hall was shocked, and it was dead silent. Everyone was petrified. Xiao Yun, who had gone through 5 Nirvana tribulations and possessed the Scarlet Flame Battle Constitution, was actually defeated by Ling Xiao with a single punch. Moreover, it was such a miserable defeat. No one had expected it. How is this possible? How can Zhao Ritian have such terrifying combat strength? Someone exclaimed, and his voice was trembling. He was completely stunned by the scene before him. Was that dragon's might? Could it be that Zhao Ritian has the bloodline of the Dragon Clan? Everyone was guessing because the dragon power just now was too terrifying. It shook the sky, and the vast power of the bloodline burst out, causing everyone to feel a wave of palpitations. So it's like that. Lu Wenlong's eyes flashed as he slowly said, Brother, he actually defeated Xiao Yun? This guy is really a monster. Lu Qingwan laughed bitterly. There was a trace of relief in his eyes, but there was also a trace of defeat. Ling Xiao was indeed not injured. However, not only was Ling Xiao a 9-star alchemy grandmaster, his talent in the martial Dao was also so terrifying. This made Lu Qingwan, who had always considered himself a genius, feel a little defeated. Someone from the Dragon Clan? It shouldn't be possible. Xiao Rui's heart skipped a beat. His gaze became sharp, revealing a trace of cold killing intent. This Zhao Ritian had exceeded his expectations. Xiao Rui actually felt a little regretful in his heart. It seemed like he really shouldn't have allowed Xiao Yun to challenge Zhao Ritian. Impossible! How can you have such a powerful physical body? You must have used some secret technique. Zhao Ritian, go to hell. Xiao Yun had completely gone crazy. His handsome face had become incomparably distorted. Previously, Ling Zhao's advancement to a 9-star alchemy grandmaster had already caused him to burn with jealousy. That was why he wanted to challenge Ling Xiao to regain some confidence. However, he didn't expect that Ling Xiao would actually surpass him in the combat strength that he was most proud of. He was defeated with a single punch. Xiao Yun couldn't accept it at all. It was as if he had gone crazy. There was a faint feeling that he was going to go berserk. Boom! Streaks of blood-red light spread around his body and rose up in the vast sea of fire. His entire aura became incomparably terrifying. Streaks of flames condensed into mysterious runes around his body. His fist was resplendent as it suddenly blasted towards Ling Xiao. An incomparably terrifying power erupted. You want me to die? Unfortunately, you're still too weak. Ling Xiao said calmly. His gaze was incomparably deep, as if it could contain a part of the starry sky. Boom! He threw a punch forward. Chaotic chi permeated the air as if there were 3,000 worlds condensing behind him. A terrifying fist will that was invincible erupted. It was as if it was pushing away the sun, moon, and stars as it fell forward. At this moment, Ling Xiao was like an invincible and peerless celestial emperor. He erupted with a peerless sharpness that made one's heart tremble. Not good. Xiao Rui's expression changed drastically. He could feel the terror of this fist. It was very likely that Xiao Yun would die under this fist. Chapter 1795. This was a peerless fist intent. Ling Xiao had once encountered the 9 Emperor's phantoms during his tribulation. Among them, the first great Emperor's supreme fist that could traverse 3,000 boundaries and transform everything into chaos left a deep impression on Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's punch was an imitation of the great Emperor's supreme fist intent, giving it some kind of power that could turn something rotten into something magical. It was as if it could surpass and destroy everything. Therefore, this fist made Xiao Rui's heart palpitate incomparably. He believed that Xiao Yun definitely couldn't withstand this fist. Boom! Xiao Rui's body emitted an incomparably terrifying aura fluctuation as if a black flame was burning. His eyes were deep and cold, and his black hair fluttered. In an instant, he soared into the sky and rushed directly onto the arena. The incomparably terrifying flames around his body condensed into a powerful fist that suppressed Ling Xiao. Xiao Rui, you dare to break the rules? Lu Wenlong said angrily. He didn't expect Xiao Rui to suddenly attack Ling Xiao and ignore the rules of the arena challenge. Xiao Rui's strength was incomparably terrifying. The peak strength of a 7th Revolution half-saint erupted. Moreover, he didn't hold back at all. He clearly wanted to kill Ling Xiao. Although Lu Wenlong also leaped up in an instant, he was still one step slower than Xiao Rui. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He didn't expect Xiao Rui to attack at this time. Suddenly, the battle intent in his eyes rose. His body emitted a vast dragon's roar as he blasted a fist toward Xiao Rui. Kacha! The void trembled violently, and cracks appeared in the void. The collision of the two fists was like the eruption of hundreds of thousands of volcanoes, erupting with blazing rays of light. The chaotic mist filled the air, and the flames crisscrossed. The terrifying aftermath spread out. Xiao Yun felt as if he was struck by lightning. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and couldn't help but fly out. Ling Xiao and Xiao Rui also trembled and retreated at the same time. What a powerful flame Dao true intent. Ling Xiao stared at Xiao Rui in the distance. His gaze was cold and sharp. He could feel that there was a terrifying flame hidden in Xiao Rui's body as if it could burn the sky. Xiao Rui was also shocked. His heart was in turmoil. Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the 2nd Revolution half-saint realm. However, Ling Zhao's punch was on par with his. Xiao Rui could even feel Ling Zhao's terrifying physical strength. He didn't feel like a second revolution half-saint realm cultivator, but more like a powerful Archean ominous beast. Zhao Ritian actually blocked Xiao Rui's attack? How is this possible? Everyone was also shocked. Originally, when Xiao Rui made a move, although they despised Xiao Rui's character in their hearts, they also thought that this time, Ling Xiao would probably be seriously injured even if he didn't die. But the result was far beyond their imagination. Lu Wenlong was also incomparably shocked in his heart, but he still leaped onto the arena in an instant and blocked in front of Xiao Rui. He said in a cold voice, "Xiao Rui, you actually dare to ignore the arena rules? Do you really think I don't dare to kill you on the spot?" Xiao Rui sneered. His eyes were filled with disdain. "Young Master Xiao, as long as both parties don't admit defeat in the arena, no one else is allowed to interfere. Could it be that you don't know this rule?" Wang Hong's expression was also incomparably ugly as he stared at Xiao Rui and said coldly. He was also incomparably annoyed. Previously, he only thought that Ling Xiao and Xiao Yun would stop when the battle was over. He didn't expect Ling Zhao's strength to be so terrifying that it even forced Xiao Rui to make a move. However, Wang Hong also knew that if Xiao Rui didn't make a move, Xiao Yun might really die under Ling Zhao's punch. "Vice Principal Wang, you just said that both parties will stop when the battle is over. No killing blows are allowed." However, this Zhao Ritian was the one who broke the rules first. He wanted to kill Xiao Yun, so I had to make a move. After seeing Wang Hong, Xiao Rui still opened his mouth to explain. What a joke! Zhao Ritian wants to kill? Xiao Rui, Xiao Yun's cultivation is at the 5th revolution half-saint realm. Just now, he went against his own promise to remove the suppression on his cultivation. Yet, you say that a 2nd revolution half-saint Zhao Ritian wants to kill a 5th revolution half-saint Xiao Yun? How shameless! Xiao Yun is a piece of trash. Lu Qingwan couldn't help but say. Everyone's expression also became a little strange. No one would have thought that not only was Ling Zhao's talent in alchemy outstanding, but his combat strength was also so terrifying. He even defeated Xiao Yun, who was known as the genius of the Xiao clan. Everyone even began to sympathize with Xiao Rui and Xiao Yun. These two brothers went against Ling Xiao, but their faces were slapped more and more. Not only did they lose the Heart Core Sutra, but even Xiao Yun was also heavily injured by Ling Xiao. Zhao Ritian, you and I are irreconcilable. Xiao Yun's face was incomparably distorted. His eyes were filled with monstrous anger as he roared at Ling Xiao. Then he spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted. He fainted just like that? I remember that Zhao Ritian only threw 2 punches, right? Everyone was dumbfounded. If Ling Xiao had only left a shadow on Xiao Yun's body before, then Ling Xiao had simply become Xiao Yun's inner demon. If Ling Xiao didn't die, it would be difficult for Xiao Yun to improve in his lifetime. Strictly speaking, Zhao Ritian only threw 1 punch. The second punch was blocked by Xiao Rui. What a tragedy for Xiao Yun. That's right. I'm afraid he's going to become the laughingstock of the 4 major families. The Lu family won't mind giving him more publicity. Everyone discussed softly. There was even a trace of sympathy in their eyes when they looked at Xiao Rui and Xiao Yun. Zhao Ritian, my Xiao family will remember what you've done today. We'll definitely repay you generously in the future. Xiao Rui saw that Xiao Yun had fainted, and his expression instantly changed. He hurriedly carried Xiao Yun up, stared coldly at Ling Xiao, and turned to leave in a hurry. Although Wang Hong and Lu Wenlong frowned and were very unhappy with Xiao Rui's behavior, they couldn't stop him and could only let him leave. Grandmaster Zhao, it was this old man's negligence just now. Fortunately, Grandmaster Zhao is fine. Otherwise, this old man wouldn't be able to redeem myself even if I died 100 times. Wang Hong laughed bitterly and expressed his apology. Vice Principal Wang, don't feel guilty. This is a matter between me and the Xiao family. I really want to see if the Xiao family can hide the truth from the masses with one hand. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His gaze was very calm. Brother Zhao, don't worry. I won't let the Xiao family touch a single hair of yours. Xiao Rui and Xiao Yun are really too much. I won't let them off so easily. However, Brother Zhao should try to avoid conflict with them. The Xiao family is usually overbearing. I'm afraid they won't let this matter go so easily. Lu Wenlong said to Ling Xiao with a trace of coldness in his eyes. Although he had an honest personality, he was also angered by Xiao Rui and Xiao Yun today. Thank you, Brother Lu. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Zhao Rin, my master has arrived. He wants to see you. Chapter 1796. 10 days later, Master Wine arrived at Taixin City. Not only was Master Wine Lu Qinghuan's master, but he was also a saint who had proven his way for hundreds of thousands of years. His cultivation was unfathomable, and he was known as the master of alchemy, talisman, and wine. He held an important position in the entire Pill Talisman Mountain. Ling Xiao was also very curious as to why Master Wine was looking for him. When Ling Xiao, Lu Wenlong, and Lu Qinghuan returned to Apricot Blossom Tower, they saw a white-haired old man in a white robe sitting at the head of the hall. He looked like an ordinary old man, and his aura was very calm. At this moment, his eyes were slightly closed, and his face was as red as a baby's. However, Ling Xiao could feel that under that calmness, there was a vast and terrifying aura. That was the power of the divine path, and it seemed to have merged with the surrounding heaven and earth. It was like the incarnation of the great path, and it was unfathomable. This was a saint who was no weaker than Huang Tai. Ling Xiao thought to himself. He must be Master Wine. Master Wine seemed to have noticed Ling Xiao as well. He opened his eyes, and his gaze was extremely deep. When he saw Ling Xiao, a trace of surprise appeared on his face. You are the one who solved the problem I left in the apricot blossom brew? Master Jiao stood up and looked at Ling Xiao with interest in his eyes as he spoke with a smile. Greetings, Master. Qinghuan missed you so much. He is Zhao Ritian, the one who solved the problem you left in the apricot blossom brew. And he just passed the 9-star alchemy grandmaster examination in the Pill Talisman College. After seeing Master Wine, Lu Qinghuan immediately ran up the mountain and hugged Master Wine's arm affectionately. He passed the 9-star alchemy grandmaster examination in the Pill Talisman College? It seems that I am right. Zhao Ritian, are you willing to be my disciple? Master Wine's eyes flashed as he looked at Ling Xiao and smiled. What? Lu Wenlong and Lu Qinghuan both trembled, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. They never thought that Master Wine would want to take Ling Xiao as his disciple as soon as he saw him. Ling Xiao was also slightly taken aback. He did not know what Master Wine was up to. Zhao Ritian, what are you waiting for? My master has never easily accepted a disciple. Why aren't you kneeling down and acknowledging him as your master? Lu Qinghuan hurriedly urged with a trace of envy in his eyes. One had to know that Master Wine had an extremely high status on Pill Seal Mountain. The reason why Lu Qinghuan was able to become Master Wine's disciple was not because of how outstanding Lu Qinghuan was, but because Master Wine owed the Lu family a favor. In addition, Lu Qinghuan's talent was not bad, so he was able to become Master Wine's only disciple. However, this was the first time Master Wine had taken the initiative to take someone in as his disciple. Master Wine, I already have a master, so I can't take you as my master. I'm sorry. Although Ling Xiao did not know Master Jiao's intentions, he still spoke slowly with an apologetic look in his eyes. You already have a master? What a pity. A look of pity appeared in Master Wine's eyes. Zhao Ritian, you really don't know what's good for you. You don't know how many people want to take my master as their master, but my master has never taken a liking to them. You actually dare to refuse? Lu Qinghuan looked at Ling Xiao as if he was looking at a fool and complained. She did not expect Ling Xiao to reject Master Jiao. Qinghuan, a master-disciple relationship can't be forced. Since Zhao Ritian already has a master, I naturally can't force him. You and Wenlong can leave first. I have something to discuss with Zhao Ritian. Master Wine said with a smile. Yes, Master. Lu Qinghuan and Lu Wenlong bowed to Master Wine, then turned around and left. Buzz. After Lu Qingwan and Lu Wenlong left, only Ling Xiao and Master Wine were left in the room. Master Wine waved his hand, and suddenly, a bright light bloomed. It formed a powerful bysema and covered the entire room. Master Wine looked at Ling Xiao and said slowly, "Zhao Ritian, although I don't know where you came from, you should have cultivated the heart path, right?" "How did you know?" Ling Xiao's body trembled, and a bright light flashed in his eyes. At the same time, he instantly became alert. The flipping sky seal was floating in his body, as if it would be activated by him at any time to break Master Wine's barrier and escape. Almost no one knew that Ling Xiao cultivated the Taishu heart charm scripture, but Master Wine had pointed out his cultivation of the heart path, which shocked Ling Xiao greatly. "You don't have to be nervous. I'm sure you saw the problem I left in the apricot flower brew. But the problem I left in the apricot flower brew is the 999 divine herbs. If you want to completely guess the answer, you have to be a saint who can see through the illusion. Or, you have to cultivate the heart path and use your powerful heart force to see through the illusion and see the true form of the 999 divine herbs. You're not a saint, which means you've cultivated the heart path." Master Wine said with a smile. "The problem in the apricot flower brew? You're right, Master Wine. I did cultivate the heart path. It's just a heart path technique that I obtained by chance." Ling Xiao said calmly, directly admitting to it. He had been wondering why Master Wine would leave that problem in the apricot flower brew. It turned out that he was looking for a person who cultivated the heart path. To be able to solve that problem, your cultivation of the heart path is not weak. That's right, I'm looking for a person who cultivates the heart path. I won't beat around the bush with you. Zhao Ritian, I want to ask you to do me a favor. Once it's done, I'll reward you handsomely. Master Wine said seriously. "You want my help?" Master Wine, if I may ask, although there are very few people who cultivate the heart path in the realm of the gods, it's not like there aren't any, right? Take the Buddhist disciples for example. Many of them cultivate the heart path. With your status, it should be easy for you to find a person who cultivates the heart path. Why did you put in so much effort to set a test in the apricot flower brew? Ling Xiao asked doubtfully. You're right. There are indeed a few people who cultivate the heart path in the realm of the gods. However, those who can reach your level are mostly Buddhist disciples. But I have a grudge with those Buddhist monks. Naturally, I can't ask them for help. So, I had to use this method, Master Wine said slowly. However, when he mentioned the Buddhist disciples, his eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Master Wine, what do you want me to help you with? Ling Xiao asked after thinking for a while. He instinctively felt that this would be a very troublesome matter. However, since it was something that could make a saint ask, he wanted to clarify it first. Help me go to a place and find a person. Chapter 1797. Oh, what place? What kind of people? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with curiosity. Let me tell you a story first. Master Jiao said slowly, a nostalgic look in his eyes. Then, without waiting for Ling Zhao's reply, he began to tell his story. In the Qinghe Kingdom of the East Sea, there was a scholar who lived in a small mountain village. He was poor since he was young, but he loved to study. When he was 20, he became the top scholar of the Qinghe Kingdom. The entire mountain village was shocked, and the scholar brought honor to his ancestors. He rode on a horse and paraded through the streets. The scholar had a fiancée who was his childhood sweetheart. Her name was Xiaoyu, and they were very close. After the scholar became the top scholar, he planned to marry Xiaoyu. However, the princess of the Qinghe Kingdom took a liking to the scholar and wanted him to be her son-in-law. The scholar refused, and the king was furious. He was sent to the Great Snow Mountain in the far north of the Qinghe Kingdom to build a city wall. The scholar was abandoned by everyone, but only Xiaoyu stayed by his side. He stayed in the Great Snow Mountain for 3 years. Master Jiao spoke in a soothing tone, as if he was reminiscing. Ling Xiao thought that Master Jiao was probably telling his own story. That scholar might be Master Jiao. Ling Xiao continued to listen to the story quietly. Although the 3 years in the Great Snow Mountain were poor, they were the happiest 3 years of the scholar and Xiaoyu. The scholar built the Great Snow Mountain and led the villagers to chase the invading barbarians out of the Great Snow Mountain. The king sent a messenger to tell the scholar that as long as he agreed to marry the princess, he could return to the capital immediately. However, the scholar refused and would rather stay in the Great Snow Mountain with Xiao Yu. Master Jiao spoke slowly. His voice sounded weary, but there was a faint smile in his eyes. On the Great Snow Mountain, the scholar and Xiao Yu grew crops and vegetables in the ice cellar. They hunted in the snow forest, watched the cold wind blow all year round, and hugged each other under the boundless sky. The scholar felt that there was nothing more blissful than this. However, the princess' love for the scholar turned into hatred. She was jealous of the scholar's feelings for Xiao Yu. She envied the scholar for not abandoning Xiao Yu even under such circumstances. Hence, the princess' love for the scholar turned into a killing intent. She sent an assassin to kill Xiao Yu when the scholar was fighting against the barbarians. When the scholar returned, Xiao Ye was already dead. But Xiao Yu didn't die in pain at all. Her brows were full of smiles, but there was still deep longing and regret in her eyes. Perhaps she couldn't bear to leave just like that. The scholar completely lost it. He hugged Xiao Ye's corpse and roared, asking why the villainous heavens were so cruel. Why was it that good people were not rewarded well, but bad people could do whatever they wanted? He was even willing to die for little Yu. He wanted to avenge little Yu, but he was just a weak scholar. How could he deal with the princess and the king? The scholar hugged Xiao Ye's body and sat on the snowy mountain for 3 days and 3 nights. Snowflakes covered his body and turned him into an ice sculpture. The scholar even thought that if he died like this, perhaps he could accompany Xiao Ye? A Taoist who was passing by saved the scholar. The Taoist exclaimed that the scholar had a peerless Taoist physique and was a genius in cultivation. He might even be able to reach the peerless realm that the Taoist would never be able to reach in his lifetime. But the scholar already had the will to die. Not to mention cultivation, he didn't even have the desire to live anymore. But the Taoist told the scholar 2 things. First, as long as the scholar was strong enough, Xiao Ye could come back from the dead. Second, the world was heartless and treated all living things like straw dogs. But only when one was strong enough could they control their own fate and even take revenge. The scholar was enlightened and became the Taoist's disciple on the snowy mountain. The scholar did not disappoint the Taoist priest. After 10 years of cultivation on the Great Snow Mountain and observing the changes of nature, as well as the truth of the universe, he reached the realm of Taoist priest and was only 1 step away from the supreme immortal realm. The Taoist passed away and the scholar buried him on the snowy mountain. Then, he wanted to return to Qinghe country to avenge Xiao Ye. He wanted to kill the princess and the king to pay tribute to Xiao Ye's soul in heaven. However, he encountered a divine path overlord of the Buddhist sect. In order to refine the Buddhist kingdom in his palm, he slaughtered 50 million living beings in the Qinghe kingdom and integrated the land within 1,000 miles of the Qinghe kingdom into the Buddhist kingdom in battle. The scholar went crazy as if he was about to turn into a devil. He used everything he learned in his life, but he still wasn't the Buddhist master's match. However, the Buddhist experts did not kill the scholar. Instead, they brought him back to the Buddhist sect's Blood Buddha temple. The scholar became a servant of the Buddha's Saraira that was enshrined under the Saraira pagoda. He used his own blood to worship the Saraira of the Buddha. 1,000,000 years ago, when the devil race invaded the divine world, the Blood Buddha temple wasn't spared. The Buddhist master also died in the devil race's invasion. The scholar was lucky enough to escape. He wanted to obtain the Buddhist kingdom in his palm because it contained the souls of billions of people in Qinghe country, including Xiao Ye's soul. The scholar still remembered the Taoist's words. As long as he could find Xiao Ye's soul and be strong enough, he could bring her back from the dead. But unfortunately, an eminent monk of the Myriad Buddha temple took action and destroyed the devil race. He also integrated the endless true spirits of the Blood Buddha temple into the 8 treasures lotus pond of virtue and virtue. It was said that the 8 treasures lotus pond of virtue and virtue was the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss. The souls of all living beings could rest in peace there. There would never be any killing and would always be peaceful and happy. That eminent monk was already an ancient saint, and the 8 treasures lotus pond of virtue and virtue was a forbidden area of the myriad Buddha temple. The scholar couldn't enter it at all. But the scholar had an obsession in his heart. He must find Xiaoya's soul and revive her. So he went through untold hardships and tribulations. He constantly grew and reached the divine realm. He bravely advanced and finally confirmed his Tao and became a saint. He thought that after confirming his Tao and becoming a saint, he finally had the qualifications to negotiate with the myriad Buddha temple. So he went to Mount Meru ancestral court to ask for Xiaoya's soul. But the myriad Buddha temple wasn't willing to return Xiaoya's soul. They even injured the scholar and expelled him from Mount Meru. After so many years, the scholar still didn't give up. After inquiring about and verifying it from many sources, he'd finally figured out the profundities of the 8-treasure lotus pond of virtue. It was actually a heart world. According to legend, it was a precious treasure left behind by the head of the 3 ancient Buddhas, Emperor Amitabha. It contained a boundlessly vast heart world that was concealed between reality and illusion, and it was the source of the Buddhist sect's faith. Buddhists collected countless souls and placed them in the heart realm in order to obtain the power of faith. It was even used for Buddhist disciples to enter the mortal world and experience tribulations to sever karma and transcend the mortal world. Only those who cultivated heart force could enter the 8 treasures lotus pond of virtue and virtue. But the scholar had already confirmed his Tao and became a saint. He couldn't recultivate his heart Tao, and even if he did, he couldn't enter the 8 treasures lotus pond of virtue and virtue. Chapter 1798. Master Jio's voice was deep, and it sounded as if it had been through the vicissitudes of life. It was like a jar of old wine that could intoxicate people. A powerful Taoist rhyme permeated the air. Finally, Master Jio finished his story and looked at Ling Xiao expectantly. "I'm sure you've already guessed that the scholar in the story is me," Master Jio said slowly. Ling Xiao took a deep breath as a trace of emotion appeared in his eyes. Unknowingly, a red-clothed figure appeared in his mind. Thinking of that red-clothed figure, that head of white hair, and that woman who had waited for him for 10,000 years, the corners of Ling Xiao's eyes suddenly became slightly moist. "Jinsei, how is she doing?" Ling Xiao's heart trembled slightly. He put away his complicated emotions and said seriously, "Master Jio's story is very good. It's even better than the apricot blossom brew. He's true to himself and only loves one person in his life. I admire such a person. All right, Master Jio, I promise you that I'll find Xiaoyu for you." Master Jio was a little surprised. "You agreed so quickly? That's the 8 treasures lotus pond of merit. It's extremely dangerous. You really don't want to think about it?" Master Jio thought that he would need more time to persuade Ling Xiao. He did not expect Ling Xiao to agree so easily. "There's no need to think about it. I promise you. However, I still have a few questions that I need Master Jio to answer for me." Ling Xiao said slowly. "Please tell me." Master Jio nodded. He looked at Ling Xiao with a meaningful gaze. At that moment, he seemed to see his own shadow in Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao said, "First question. After Master Jio became a sage, he became the supreme elder of Pill Talisman Mountain. Although Pill Talisman Mountain is not as powerful as Myriad Buddha Temple, it's not that far off. Moreover, Pill Talisman Mountain's status is very high. Even Myriad Buddha Temple needs a lot of pills and talismans from Pill Talisman Mountain. However, they offended Master Jio for a mortal soul. They even injured Master Jio and became enemies with Pill Talisman Mountain. Isn't that too much of a loss? Unless Xiaoyu's soul is not simple and is extremely important to Myriad Buddha Temple. It's more important than offending Master Jio." A hint of admiration appeared in the master's eyes as he slowly said, "You're right. If it was only a mortal soul and I took the initiative, even the Myriad Buddha Temple would have to give me face. But when I mentioned Little Yu's soul, their attitude immediately became extremely cold and unreasonable. So, I guess that something has probably happened to Little Yu's soul. But I can't find anything out from the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue. You'll have to investigate this yourself." Ling Xiao nodded and continued. "Second question. Before me, Master Jiao must have sent someone into the 8 treasures lotus pond of merit, right? Did you get any useful information? Ling Xiao was very certain of this. It was impossible that Master Wine did not have other methods. After so many years, he must have found some people who cultivated the way of the heart. Those people had probably failed. You're right. Before you, I found a total of 99 people who cultivated the Tao of the heart and made them enter the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue. But as expected, all of them failed and died completely. This involves the secret of the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue, and it's something that I have to tell you. Master Jiao nodded. His gaze became serious as well. The 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue is a huge heart realm. In the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue, even a Buddhist disciple can only form a heart force clone to enter. So, in the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue, the stronger the heart force, the stronger the talent. After entering the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue, one will be reincarnated. After a baby is born, it will undergo a baptism of Buddha's light. After reaching adulthood at the age of 20, it will undergo a merit baptism. Everyone who enters the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue will be completely converted by Buddhism after going through these 2 baptisms. They will become the most loyal disciples of Buddhism. That's why Buddhism is not afraid of people sneaking into the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue. It's because those who sneak in will eventually be converted into Buddhist disciples. It's very terrifying. Of the 99 people I found, 90 of them did not even make it through the baptism of Buddha's light and were directly converted. 9 of them made it through the baptism of Buddha's light, but they did not make it through the merit baptism. They still failed. In the end, they were discovered by the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue and directly turned into heart force trash. They died and their Tao disappeared. According to my research, if you want to make it through the baptism of Buddha's light and the merit baptism, the stronger the heart force, the better. Only then can you quickly break the mystery of being in the womb and recover your memories. Master Jiao told Ling Xiao everything he knew about the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue. So that's how it is. Buddhism's divine ability of enlightenment is indeed terrifying. Ling Xiao couldn't help but be shocked when he heard this. If he was converted by Buddhism and completely became a Buddhist disciple, then his life and death would not be in his control. Even his thoughts would be controlled by others. It was simply a fate worse than death. Ling Xiao finally understood the dangers of the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue. Your heart force is the strongest among all the people I have seen. Although it has not reached the level of using heart force to prove the Tao of a heart saint, it is far stronger than the 99 people. Therefore, you are the one with the most hope. However, it is still very dangerous. Once you are in the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue, I will not be able to help you. When the time comes, you can only rely on yourself. Master Jiao said seriously. I can give it a try. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said slowly. He had just communicated with Uncle Su in the Great Void Temple and asked him about the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue. Uncle Su had suggested that he go to the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue. For Ling Xiao's Great Void Charm scripture, it would be a great opportunity and creation. Ling Xiao had the heart realm and the wordless heavenly book. He was already in an invincible position. Even the divine ability of enlightenment of Buddhism could not convert him. Moreover, Ling Xiao was very curious about the 8 treasures lotus pool of virtue. This was because Uncle Su had once told him that the secret skill of karma of the 1000 Buddha Temple was the #1 heart path technique in the all heavens. If the Great Void Emperor had been able to obtain the secret skill of karma and verify it with the Great Void Charm scripture, he would have been able to prove his Tao and become an emperor long ago. If Ling Xiao wanted to become the #1 heart saint in the all heavens, he had to cultivate the #1 heart path technique in the all heavens. If you can help me bring Xiao Yu back, I will owe you my life. Even if you want me to go against the chaotic heavenly sect, I will not hesitate. Master Jiao said with a smile, but there was a sharp glint in his eyes. The chaotic heavenly sect was the #1 existence in the God world's 12 immortal sanctuaries. They had the secret skill of chaos, the #1 sky art. Even the Emperor clan did not dare to provoke them. However, Master Jiao said that he would go against the chaotic heavenly sect for Xiaoyu. Chapter 1799. Master Wine, you're exaggerating. However, I came to the pill talisman ceremony to find the recipe for the eternal creation pill. Do you know the recipe? Ling Xiao asked with a hint of anticipation in his eyes. The recipe for the eternal creation pill? The eternal creation pill is an ancient divine pill. It's a supreme healing treasure refined from the snow lotus of creation. However, it's extremely difficult to refine the eternal creation pill. I'm afraid even I can't refine it. However, I do have a part of the recipe. Master Wine said in surprise. Master Wine, you're an alchemy saint. Even you can't refine the eternal creation pill? Ling Xiao asked doubtfully. It's not that I can't refine it. It's just that the requirements for refining the eternal creation pill are too harsh. First of all, the snow lotus of good fortune was an ancient source sacred medicine. Now, it was nearly lost and it was extremely difficult to find. Moreover, in order to refine the eternal good fortune pill, one had to comprehend the source of life. If one could condense the Tao fruit of life, then they would naturally be able to refine the eternal good fortune pill or obtain the legendary secret arts of life. However, I didn't become a sage through the great path of life. I don't have the secret skill of life. Master Wine said slowly. I see. I have a few elders who suffered Tao injuries and fell from the sage realm to the sage-to-be sage realm. That's why I want to refine the eternal creation pill to heal them. Ling Xiao said. Master Wine nodded and said, the eternal creation pill is an ancient divine pill. It contains the origin of life. Naturally, it can heal Tao injuries. However, I only have a part of the recipe for the eternal creation pill. The specific refining method is stored in the Pill Book Pavilion on Pill Talisman Mountain. After the Pill Talisman ceremony, I'll get it for you. How about that? Buzz. Master Wine's palm flashed and a jade talisman appeared. He placed it between his eyebrows for a moment and then handed it to Ling Xiao. After Ling Xiao received it, he immediately realized that the jade talisman contained the various medicinal ingredients needed to refine the rebirth pill. The main ingredient was naturally the snow lotus of good fortune. However, in addition to the snow lotus of good fortune, there were also hundreds of semi-sage medicines needed. Ling Xiao looked carefully. Although these semi-sage medicines were very precious, they should be able to be collected. He couldn't help but feel relieved. Thank you, Master Wine. When are we heading to the 8-treasure lotus pool? Ling Xiao asked. There's no rush. The main reason I came to Taishan City this time is to preside over the grand ceremony of alchemy and talisman. After the pill talisman ceremony, I'll bring you to the 8 treasures lotus pond of virtue and virtue. Master Wine said with a smile. All right. Ling Xiao nodded in agreement. Master Jiao left with Lu Wenlong and Lu Qinglong. He told them some things about the alchemy talisman ceremony. Ling Xiao returned to his small courtyard and set up a powerful formation. Then he took out a semi-sage level cave dwelling treasure and turned into a ray of light before entering it. After doing all this, Ling Xiao used his heart realm to communicate with the Great Void Temple and entered it. Uncle Su, is there anything special about the 8-treasure lotus pond of virtue and virtue? Ling Xiao asked curiously when he saw Uncle Su in the Great Void Temple. Previously, he had communicated with Uncle Su. Although Uncle Su did not explain in detail, he had advised Ling Xiao to agree to Master Wine's request and enter the 8 treasures lotus pond of merit. He had even told Ling Xiao that this was a great opportunity. Uncle Su smiled and said, Of course. The 8 treasures lotus pond of merit is not an ordinary place. It's the heart realm left behind by Amitabha, one of the 3 ancient Buddhas. It can even be said to be a complete greater thousand world that exists between reality and illusion. Although it's not an emperor weapon, to Buddhism, it's more important than an emperor weapon. The 8 treasures lotus pond of merit is the source of Buddhism's faith. It's also the place where karma is entangled. Legend has it that the complete secret skill of karma is in there. The complete secret skill of karma? To Ling Xiao, this news made him extremely excited. After coming to the divine world, Ling Xiao had been thinking about how to obtain the 12 sky arts. Now that he had joined the War God Temple, he was not qualified to comprehend the War God Temple's fundamental secret skill of War God Temple. As for the complete secret skills of other immortal sacred grounds, it was even more difficult to obtain them. How could Ling Xiao not be excited when Uncle Su said that the complete secret skill of karma was in the 8 treasures Lotus Pond of Merit? The most important thing is that the 8 treasures Lotus Pond of Merit can be said to be the boundary between reality and illusion. For countless years, it has accumulated a vast amount of heart energy, power of faith, and power of karma. This is extremely beneficial to your heart realm. If you can steal a portion of the energy from the 8 treasures Lotus Pond of Merit and integrate it into your heart realm, it can shorten the time you need to break through to the 6th level of the Great Void Charm Scripture by 100 or 1,000 times. Uncle Su smiled. Although you've reached the peak of the 5th level of the Great Void Charm Scripture, the 6th level of the Prominent Divine Realm is a hurdle. If you cultivate by yourself, I'm afraid you won't be able to break through even after cultivating for 10,000 years. If you can become a heart saint in advance, you'll be able to protect yourself even when facing a real sage. Uncle Su's words were an unbearable temptation to Ling Xiao. Heart saint, the meaning of these 2 words did not need to be explained. Ling Xiao understood how important it was. Alright, in that case, I really want to see what kind of place the 8 treasures Lotus Pond of Merit is. Ling Xiao nodded and said, Young master, if you want to refine the eternal creation pill, although you're not a pill saint yet, you might be able to increase your chances of success in the elixir hall. Uncle Su reminded him. Alright, I also plan to refine the eternal creation pill in the elixir hall after I obtain the pill formula for the eternal creation pill. Ling Xiao smiled and said, he had already opened the elixir hall. Naturally, he knew how mysterious the elixir hall was. The elixir hall contained the Great Void Emperor's vast knowledge of pill Tao. Refining pills in the elixir hall was like having the Great Void Emperor by his side. Even if Ling Xiao was only a 9-star alchemy grandmaster, he could still refine a real divine pill. However, before Ling Xiao's heart charm scripture of merit broke through to the 6th level, he would not be able to get the Great Void Temple to recognize him as its owner. Naturally, he would not be able to obtain all of the Great Void Emperor's inheritance. However, Ling Xiao believed that this day would not be too far away. Uncle Su, how is Talisman King now? Ling Xiao suddenly thought of Talisman King. He looked at Uncle Su curiously and asked. Chapter 1800. Not only was Talisman King the ruler of the entire Void Realm, but he was also Uncle Su's disciple. Talisman King? I'm afraid you didn't expect him to have the legendary Heavenly Talisman's sacred body. After being tempered in the endless world of hearts, coupled with the vast power of Talisman in the Void Realm, his cultivation has improved by leaps and bounds. He's now at the peak of the 3rd Revolution Half-Saint Realm. It won't be long before he breaks through to the 4th Revolution Half-Saint Realm. When Talisman King was mentioned, Uncle Su's eyes flashed with a smile and satisfaction. Talisman King might be stubborn, but he was indeed very talented. Heavenly Talisman's sacred body? 3rd Revolution Half-Saint Realm? Ling Xiao became somewhat speechless. He had experienced several life and death situations. And he had made the breakthrough into the 2nd Revolution of the Half-Saint Realm with great difficulty. However, he hadn't expected that Fu Wang had silently made the breakthrough into the 3rd Revolution of the Half-Saint Realm. Ling Xiao had heard of the Heavenly Talisman's sacred body before. It was a peerless sacred body. It was rumored that the Heavenly Curse sect had been searching for the Heavenly Talisman's sacred body. Unfortunately, they had not found it after so many years. If Talisman King entered the Heavenly Curse sect, he would immediately become the holy son of the Heavenly Curse sect. He would be highly valued and nurtured. Do you want to see him, young master? However, he's not convinced by you. Uncle Su said with a smile. Then, a light flashed in his palm. Instantly, a ripple-like image appeared in front of Ling Xiao. Talisman King had bronze skin and sat cross-legged on a mountain peak. He had short hair and a strange rune between his eyebrows. It was as if he had merged with the world around him. Every breath he took was like a thunderclap, causing the void around him to tremble violently. The vast energy around him surged toward his limbs like clouds, making his aura stronger and stronger. Forget it. I won't see him for the time being. Let him cultivate. Perhaps he'll have a chance to participate in the Heavenly Choice Convention with me in the near future. Ling Xiao thought for a while and shook his head. Don't worry, young master. He's well prepared. He might even break through to the advanced half-saint realm in a few years. Uncle Su said with a smile. Alright. Ling Xiao could not take the blow. He laughed bitterly and left the Great Void Temple. In Taishan City, because of the alchemy talisman ceremony, more and more people came here. Many alchemists from holy lands, and even some alchemists from reclusive ancient clans, and rogue cultivators had all come to Taishan City. There were many young geniuses among them, so there had been several fights in Taishan City over the past few days. Many people's eyes alchemists and many people's and in King Tower. Many people's is. And alchemists. Many masters in and school god s tower. Alchemists and kings is. Famouses s. And god s's and names. However, the name Zhao Ritian was very unfamiliar. Furthermore, this Zhao Ritian lived in the apricot blossom brothel and rarely came out. No one knew where he came from. This made his identity even more mysterious. After Ling Xiao left his courtyard, he found that there were many unfamiliar figures in the apricot blossom tower. Many pairs of eyes were staring at his courtyard. Is that Zhao Ritian? He's out. Go and report to the family head. This is a young genius no weaker than Lu Wenlong and Xiao Ru. Let's see if we can rope him in. Follow him. Let's see where he's going. Many divine minds intertwined. After Ling Xiao appeared, they could not help but discuss. Ling Xiao frowned slightly. He did not expect so many people to be outside his courtyard. They must be from the major families and forces. They had heard that Ling Xiao had become a 9-star alchemy grandmaster, so they came to inquire about the situation and monitor Ling Xiao's whereabouts. Ling Xiao suspected that some of them were from the Xiao family. However, Ling Xiao did not pay attention to them. Instead, he went straight to the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. I should be able to find these hundreds of semi-sage herbs in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. Ling Xiao thought to himself. He already had the snow lotus of good fortune, but if he wanted to refine the regeneration pill, he still needed hundreds of semi-sage herbs as supplementary herbs. Therefore, Ling Xiao thought of the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. There should be many kinds of herbs in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. Ling Xiao did not pay attention to those who were following behind him. In the Alchemy and Talisman Academy, Ling Xiao met Wang Hong. Grandmaster Zhao, why have you come to the Alchemy and Talisman Academy? Wang Hong asked curiously. He did not expect Ling Xiao to return in just a few days. Vice Academy Master Wang, I'm here to buy some semi-sage herbs. Take a look at these semi-sage herbs. Do we have them in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy? Ling Xiao did not beat around the bush with Wang Hong. He directly wrote down the hundreds of semi-sage herbs. Yama grass, sleepless flower, 7-star spider, soul-catching nether vine. Grandmaster Zhao, most of these are highly toxic semi-sage herbs. Could it be that you want to refine some kind of poisonous pill? Although these semi-sage herbs are precious, we should have them in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. Wait a moment, I'll go take a look. Wang Hong looked at Ling Xiao in surprise. However, he immediately realized that he had misspoken. He could not help but smile and ask Ling Xiao to sit down. Then, he went to the storeroom to take a look. Not long after, Wang Hong came back. Grandmaster Zhao, I just took a look. Our Alchemy and Talisman Academy has most of the hundreds of semi-sage herbs you want. However, the blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede are too rare. Moreover, they are highly toxic. We don't have them in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. Wang Hong waved his sleeve, and suddenly, hundreds of jade boxes appeared in front of Ling Xiao. They looked crystal clear and extraordinary. The semi-sage herbs in them could be seen clearly. They were well preserved. The blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede? No problem, I'll go look elsewhere. Vice Academy Master Wang has already helped me a lot by finding so many semi-sage herbs for me. Ling Xiao said with a smile. The hundreds of semi-sage herbs were extremely rare. Most of them were highly toxic. He did not expect the Alchemy and Talisman Academy to be able to find so many. This gave him a more intuitive understanding of the Alchemy and Talisman Academy's foundation. Chapter 1801. The 9-headed centipede was a poisonous insect. Although it could be used as medicine, it didn't have much intelligence. The 9-headed centipede had the ability to travel through the void and was extremely difficult to capture. It was also highly poisonous. A single bite from a half-saint could kill him instantly. These 2 half-saint herbs were extremely difficult to find. Ling Xiao didn't expect to find them in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. Grandmaster Zhao, if you really need the blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede, maybe you can go to the Fortune Pavilion. There should be the treasures you want there. Wang Hong thought for a moment and then said to Ling Xiao, The Fortune Pavilion? The Fortune Pavilion that is said to have opened all over the God Realm? That's right. Taishan City is such a huge city. The Fortune Pavilion naturally won't let it go. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The origin of the Baoyun Pavilion was very mysterious. It was rumored that there were branches of the Baoyun Pavilion in the big cities of the divine world. It was said that the Baoyun Pavilion could find all the treasures in the universe. Moreover, the Baoyun Pavilion only served the experts. One had to be at least a semi-sage to enter the Baoyun Pavilion. That's right. If you can't find the blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy, I'm afraid you won't be able to find them in other places for a while. However, the Fortune Pavilion will definitely have them. You can go and have a look. Wang Hong said to Ling Xiao. Okay, thank you, Vice Dean Wang. How much sacred liquid are these half-saint herbs worth? Ling Xiao nodded and said, a total of 98 half-saint herbs. Grandmaster Zhao is a 9-star alchemy grandmaster. You can enjoy a 50% discount in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. The total is 223,000 drops of sacred liquid. I'll round up the change for you. You can pay 220,000 drops of sacred liquid. Wang Hong smiled slightly. 220,000 drops of sacred liquid? Good. Keep it well. Ling Xiao smacked his lips inwardly. The value of these half-step saint elixirs wasn't low. He still had more than 200,000 drops of saint elixirs on him. After buying these half-step saint elixirs, he was practically a pauper. It seems that I have to find a way to get some sacred liquid. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be able to afford the blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede. Ling Xiao said with a wry smile. After leaving the Academy of Alchemy and Talisman, Ling Xiao was about to head to the Pavilion of Fortune when 2 uninvited guests blocked his path. Are you Grandmaster Zhao Ritian? Our holy son wants to see you. Please come with us. A cold voice rang out, causing Ling Xiao to frown. It was a man and a woman who stopped Ling Xiao. The man was as strong as a dragon and wore a black robe. He had a powerful aura while the woman was tall and beautiful. However, both of them looked very cold. Although they addressed Ling Xiao as Grandmaster Zhao, they looked arrogant and did not show any respect at all. Instead, they looked like they were superior and bossy. Both of them had the cultivation of 5th Revolution half-sage. It was indeed something to be proud of. They could be regarded as genius powerhouses since they had reached 5th Revolution half-sage at such a young age. You are disciples of the 5 Elements Saint sect? Who is your holy son? Ling Xiao said indifferently. His voice was calm. That's right, we are disciples of the 5 Elements Saint sect. Our holy son is Huang Xuanzong, a 9th Revolution half-sage. It is your honor to be summoned by him. Hurry up and come with us. Don't let our holy son wait. The pretty woman said impatiently, as if it was a matter of course. Ling Xiao was so angry that he laughed. He sneered and said, What does it have to do with me if your holy son wants to see me? I didn't agree to see him. Get out of my way, I have something to do. Ling Xiao did not have a good impression of the Five Elements Saint sect. When he was in the divine capital, he had a big fight with Saint Jinde of the Five Elements Saint sect. He did not expect that a disciple of the Five Elements Saint sect would appear in front of him. It seemed that he and the Five Elements Saint sect were really fated. Zhao Riyan, you have to think carefully. Although you are a 9-star alchemy grandmaster, you are only a second revolution half-sage. In the divine world, strength is respected. Our holy son will soon become a saint. You can't afford to offend him. Don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. The black-robed man said coldly as he stared at Ling Xiao. He thought that as long as he mentioned the holy son's name, Zhao Riyan would naturally follow him back to see the holy son. However, he did not expect Zhao Riyan to be so ungrateful and reject him directly. The black-robed man immediately felt a little embarrassed, and the way he looked at Ling Xiao also became a little unfriendly. Become a saint? Not to mention that he hasn't become a saint. Even if he has, what does it have to do with me? I don't know him, so I don't want to see him. Please get out of my way. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Ling Xiao said impatiently. These disciples of the immortal Saint Lands were all arrogant. It was as if they would rush up and kneel down to curry favor with them as long as they mentioned their names. This made Ling Xiao feel extremely disgusted. Zhao Riyan, we are giving you face by calling you Grandmaster Zhao. However, don't be so shameless. Do you really think that we won't dare to lay a hand on you? The beautiful woman said coldly. Her voice was sharp and her eyes revealed a trace of killing intent. Lay a hand on me? I really want to see how you are going to lay a hand on me. Come at me if you're not afraid of death. Ling Xiao sneered coldly. Senior brother, what should we do? This brat refuses a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Are we really going to tie him up and bring him back? Isn't it just because he can refine the Five Elements Saint Pill? What's there to be arrogant about? The beautiful woman said to the black-robed man through voice transmission. This brat doesn't know what's good for him. It's his fortune that the saint has taken a liking to him. Since he's so stubborn, we'll crush all his bones and bring him back. I'd like to see if this small pill talisman mountain dares to interfere with the matters of our Five Elements Saint sect. The black-robed man also sneered and said through voice transmission. Rumble. The two of them looked at each other and seemed to have made up their minds. A terrifying aura emanated from their bodies. In an instant, the void around them trembled violently. The two of them seemed to be about to pounce on Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly and revealed a trace of cold killing intent. The blood in his body was surging, and his aura became obscure and uncertain. It was as if an Archean fierce beast had awakened, exuding an extremely terrifying aura. Since these two disciples of the Five Elements Saint sect dared to lay a hand on him here, Ling Xiao was naturally not afraid of them. He was still waiting to get to the treasure tower, so he might as well get rid of these two guys first. How dare you lay a hand on him in Taishin City? At this moment, a delicate voice was heard. Ling Xiao was stunned when he saw that it was Lu Qingwan and Lu Wenlong who had rushed over together. Lu Qingwan scolded the two disciples of the Five Elements Saint sect. The two black-robed old men under her command had an extremely terrifying aura. They instantly surrounded the two disciples of the Five Elements Saint sect. Chapter 1802. Only then did Ling Xiao realize that the two black-robed old men following Lu Qingwan and Lu Wenlong were both 9 revolution half-saints. Their auras were extremely terrifying. However, Lu Qingwan and Lu Wenlong were the proud talents of the Lu family. They were called the dragons and phoenixes of the Lu family. It was only right for them to be protected by these two old men. As for the two disciples of the Five Elements Saint sect, when they felt the terrifying aura around them, their faces turned pale. The black-robed young man said fiercely, "What do you want to do? We are the true disciples of the Five Elements Sacred Sect. We are here to invite Grand Master Zhao under the order of the Holy Son of the Huang Xuanzong." Invite Grand Master Zhao? Why do I see that Grand Master Zhao is unwilling to go back to you, and you want to attack him? This is Taishin City, not your Five Elements Sacred Sect. You have to abide by the rules of Taishan City. Otherwise, don't blame me for killing you on the spot. Lu Qingwan's eyes flashed coldly as he scolded coldly. Fairy Qingwan, you must be joking. How can we attack Grand Master Zhao? Our holy son admires Grand Master Zhao very much, so he sent us to invite Grand Master Zhao back. That pretty woman quickly said, squeezing out a smile on her face. They naturally knew that the two people in front of them were the dragons and phoenixes of the Lu family. They were extremely talented and powerful. Even if they were extremely arrogant, they unconsciously bowed their heads in front of Lu Qingwan and Lu Wenlong. Go back and tell Huang Xuanzong that I have no time to see him. If he really admires me, then he should come to visit me in person. Don't send some random people. Ling Xiao sneered coldly. When Lu Qingwan and Lu Wenlong arrived, Ling Xiao also knew that this battle was not going to happen. Moreover, two disciples of the Five Revolution Half-Saint realm could not arouse Ling Xiao's interest at all. So, he waved his hand impatiently as if he was driving away flies. We will definitely convey Grand Master Zhao's words to the Holy Sun for you. But don't regret it, Grand Master Zhao. Those who dare to offend our Holy Sun will not be able to survive in this world. The faces of the two disciples of the Five Elements Saint sect alternated between green and white. Their eyes were incomparably cold. They took a deep look at Ling Xiao, turned around, and left. Seeing that Ling Xiao did not intend to pursue the matter, Lu Qingwan and Lu Wenlong did not make things difficult for them and let them leave. Brother Zhao, letting them go like this is really letting them off too easily. Do you know Huang Xuanzong? Why would he send someone to look for you? Lu Wenlong looked at Ling Xiao and asked doubtfully. No, I don't. Is the Huang Xuanzong very famous? Ling Xiao said indifferently. Huang Xuanzong is the head of the 5 great holy sons of the 5 Elements Saint sect. He has the legendary 5 Elements Saint body. His strength is unparalleled and unfathomable. He has already reached the 9th Revolution Half-Saint realm. He is known as one of the most promising people to become a saint within 100 years. Zhao Ritian, I think this Huang Xuanzong doesn't have good intentions. He's most likely here because you can concoct the 5 Elements Sacred Pill. Lu Qingwan slowly said. When she mentioned Huang Xuanzong, there was a trace of seriousness in her eyes. This Huang Xuanzong was actually so powerful? However, not to mention that he hasn't become a saint yet, even if he has, I won't be able to refine the 5 elemental saint pill for him. Ling Xiao sneered. Brother Zhao is right. The 5 elements saint sect is too overbearing. This is the Taiqing celestial domain, not the Shangqing celestial domain. There's no need to be afraid of them. Brother Zhao, where are you going? Lu Wenlong also smiled faintly. I want to go to the Fortune Treasure Pavilion to buy 2 half-saint elixirs, the Blood Soul Fruit and the 9-headed centipede. Have you heard of them? Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat as he asked. The Fortune Treasure Pavilion? There are indeed various precious treasures in the Fortune Treasure Pavilion. Today is the annual auction of the Fortune Treasure Pavilion. There will be many strange treasures appearing. The Blood Soul Fruit and the 9-headed centipede are both rare half-saint elixirs. Moreover, they are highly toxic. However, the Fortune Treasure Pavilion must have them. I'll go with Brother Zhao. I'm also going to participate in this auction. Lu Wenlong smiled faintly. Auction? I'll go too. I'll go too. Lu Qingwan was suddenly energized and said excitedly. All right, let's go together. Lu Wenlong said with a smile. The Fortune Treasure Pavilion was not far from the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. On the busiest street of the entire Taishan city, there was a huge manor. There were pavilions, small bridges, and flowing water. Ancient trees were green and filled with a faint spiritual mist. It looked like a paradise. It was very extraordinary. Lu Wenlong and Lu Qingwan were obviously frequent guests of the Fortune Treasure Pavilion. When the beautiful maid at the door saw the two of them, she immediately showed a respectful expression and welcomed the 3 of them into the Fortune Treasure Pavilion. Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat. He saw that even the beautiful maids at the entrance were First Revolution half-saint. There were no God Realm experts in the entire Treasure of Fortune Pavilion. Even the servants and guards were half-saint cultivators. The Fortune Treasure Pavilion's foundation is really deep. Ling Xiao sighed softly in his heart. This was only the Fortune Treasure Pavilion in Taishan City. How many Fortune Treasure Pavilions were there in the entire God realm? There were so many half-saints here. There were probably more half-saints than the true disciples of the immortal sacred lands. The background of the Fortune Treasure Pavilion is very mysterious. Even the disciples of the immortal sacred lands don't dare to be presumptuous here. But their reputation is very good, and there are no treasures that they can't find. For example, the blood soul fruit and the nine-headed centipede, they definitely have them. Lu Wenlong said with a slight smile. Obviously, he was full of confidence in the Fortune Treasure Pavilion. Ling Xiao nodded, and there was a little more expectation in his heart. Young Master Lu, Goddess Qingwan, what brings you here? The dragon and phoenix of the Lu family have graced our Fortune Treasure Pavilion with your presence. It's really an honor. A hearty laugh came, and a middle-aged fat man in a brocade robe walked out of the Fortune Treasure Pavilion. He looked very friendly with a smile and came up to greet them. Deacon Wang, sorry to disturb you. This time, we are naturally here to participate in the Fortune Treasure Pavilion's auction. In addition, my friend wants to buy some half-saint medicine. Lu Wenlong said with a slight smile. Obviously, he was very familiar with this middle-aged fat man. This fat man is called Wang Lang, and he is a deacon of the Fortune Treasure Pavilion. He can be considered a middle to high level in the Fortune Treasure Pavilion. The Fortune Treasure Pavilion has 9 deacons who are responsible for daily operations. Above the deacons are the elders and the mysterious tower master. Lu Qingwan said to Ling Xiao telepathically. Thank you. Ling Xiao glanced at Lu Qingwan, and there was a hint of a smile in his eyes. Chapter 1803. This is Grandmaster Zhao Ritian? After seeing Ling Xiao, Wang Lang's eyes suddenly showed a trace of surprise. Your Fortune Pavilion is really well informed. I didn't expect you to recognize him at a glance in just a few days. That's right. My friend is the new 9-star alchemy grandmaster, Zhao Rigen. Lu Wenlong scolded with a smile. Greetings, Deacon Wang. Ling Xiao cupped his hands and bowed. This Wang Lang seemed to be all smiles and was very kind. However, he was actually an 8th Revolution half-saint. This made Ling Xiao very surprised. He now had a deeper understanding of the Fortune Treasure Pavilion's foundation. Grandmaster Zhao, you're too kind. It's our blessing that Grandmaster Zhao can come to our Fortune Pavilion. If Grandmaster Zhao needs anything, just let me know. I'll find it for you as soon as possible. Wang Lang said with a smile. It had to be said that Wang Lang was indeed very amiable. His smile looked very sincere and gave people a feeling of a spring breeze. He didn't have the slightest arrogance of a high-level half-saint. Deacon Wang, I came to the Fortune Pavilion this time to look for 2 half-saint medicines, the blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede. Do you have them in the Fortune Pavilion? Ling Xiao said with a smile. The blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede? These are half-saint medicines from the ancient times, and they have the potential to grow into real origin saint medicines. They are very rare and contain a strong poison. Our Fortune Treasure Pavilion just happens to have these 2 kinds of semi-sage herbs, but, Wang Lang said with a little surprise, but in the end he hesitated. But what? Lu Wenlong asked curiously. But the blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede were placed in the Fortune Pavilion by young Master Xiao Rui for auction, and young Master Xiao also came back to participate in today's auction. Wang Lang looked at Lu Wenlong and Ling Xiao and said. Wang Lang's meaning was obvious. Ling Xiao and Lu Wenlong's conflict with Xiao Rui and Xiao Yun in the Dan and Talisman Academy had already spread throughout Taishan City. Since Xiao Rui had consigned the item to be auctioned, and Xiao Rui would also come to participate in the auction, if they saw Ling Xiao and Lu Wenlong participating in the auction, who knew what kind of trouble they would cause? Although Wang Lang was on good terms with Lu Wenlong, it wasn't appropriate for him to warn him directly. He could only give him such a vague hint. Xiao Rui is being auctioned in the Fortune Treasure Pavilion? This is indeed a little difficult. Lu Wenlong and Ling Xiao couldn't help but frown. Why does Xiao Rui have the blood soul fruit and the nine-headed centipede? Does this guy really have a grudge against us? Lu Qingwan said gloomily. It's all right. So what if it was Xiao Rui's auction item? In an auction, everyone was bidding, and the highest bidder would win. Then, let's participate in the auction and strive to obtain these 2 half-sage herbs. Ling Xiao thought about it for a while and decided. Alright, Deacon Wang, how long until the auction begins? Lu Wenlong asked. Wang Lang said, it's about to start. There were about 4 hours left. Why don't you take a rest first, and I'll call you when the auction starts. Ling Xiao suddenly raised his head and asked, Deacon Wang, I have a few items here. I wonder if I can put them in the Fortune Treasure Pavilion's auction? Ling Xiao had used up all the saint liquid on him. If he participated in the auction now, he probably couldn't even afford to bid, so Ling Xiao wanted to auction a few treasures. Grandmaster Zhao, the auction is very close now. If it's an ordinary treasure, I'm afraid the elders won't agree to put it in the auction. Why don't you let the Fortune Treasure Pavilion buy any treasures you have? Wang Lang said with some difficulty. Brother Zhao, there's no need to auction any treasures. If you need the saint liquid, I'll buy the blood soul fruit and the nine-headed centipede for you. Take it as a thank you for helping us win the bet. Lu Wenlong smiled slightly. He could also see that Ling Xiao wanted to auction the treasures because he was embarrassed. Buzz. A light flashed in Ling Xiao's palm, and suddenly, 3 golden light balls appeared. There were 3 golden tokens in the light balls. They looked mysterious and seemed to contain a strange energy fluctuation. Deacon Wang, can these 3 treasures be auctioned? Ling Xiao asked. The golden holy badges? Wang Lang saw the 3 golden light balls in Ling Xiao's hand and suddenly trembled. His eyes revealed a trace of disbelief, and he couldn't help but exclaim. Golden holy badges, they are actually golden holy badges? Even Lu Wenlong and Lu Qingwan couldn't remain calm. The virtual saint world was an irresistible temptation for many half-saints. It contained endless opportunities and treasures, and even the inheritance of the holy way of the ancient saints. Everyone who entered the virtual saint world would be able to obtain a lot of good fortune. However, there were very few holy badges in the void saint world, and only true saints were qualified to compete for them. Most of the holy badges were silver holy badges, and golden holy badges were extremely rare. Even Lu Wenlong and Lu Qingwan, who were the descendants of the Lu clan, had only obtained a few silver holy badges. They hadn't obtained a golden holy badge yet. They didn't expect Ling Xiao to auction 3 golden holy badges, and immediately felt that Ling Xiao's background was even more mysterious. Grandmaster Zhao is really willing to auction off the golden holy badges? These 3 golden holy badges are enough to be one of the best treasures in this auction. Grandmaster Zhao is really generous. Wang Lang exclaimed. Let's auction them off. There shouldn't be a problem, right? Ling Xiao said calmly. Of course there's no problem. Grandmaster Zhao, please take a rest first. I'll pass these 3 golden holy badges to the person in charge of the auction. Don't worry, Grandmaster Zhao, these 3 golden holy badges will definitely be auctioned off at a high price. Wang Lang said with a smile. His attitude towards Ling Xiao became even more respectful. After excusing himself, he hurriedly left. Brother Zhao, those are golden holy badges. You're just going to auction them off like that? If you keep them for yourself, these 3 golden holy badges would probably be enough for you to reach the 9th transformation half-saint realm within 100 years. Lu Wenlong said with some pity and envy. It's okay, I still have golden holy badges. Ling Xiao said nonchalantly. You still have golden holy badges? Lu Wenlong and Lu Qingwan looked at each other and suddenly felt a little speechless. They hadn't even seen the golden holy badges before. They didn't expect Ling Xiao to be so indifferent to them. Suddenly, they felt discouraged for the first time. It was truly infuriating to compare oneself to others. Ling Xiao and the other 2 rested in an elegant room, but what they didn't know was that after Wang Lang left, he immediately released the news that the 3 golden holy badges would appear in the auction. Suddenly, countless geniuses in the entire Taishan city were in an uproar. Chapter 1804. The Fortune Pavilion's auction was considered a grand event in the entire Taishan city. It attracted countless geniuses and experts to participate. Especially before the alchemy talisman ceremony, many alchemists and talisman masters wanted to buy some herbs, materials for making talismans, and various treasures to increase their chances of winning in the alchemy talisman ceremony. It could be said that alchemists and talisman masters were the wealthiest people. For the sake of a single material, they would not hesitate to go all out and even fight. The treasure of Fortune Pavilion's auction had become a carnival for numerous alchemists and talisman masters. Not to mention the 4 big families of Alchemy Talisman Mountain, even many alchemists from the immortal Holy Lands had come to the auction. The Fortune Pavilion's auction was held in a very spacious hall that could accommodate thousands of people. At this moment, the auction hall was full of people. Ling Xiao, Lu Wenlong, and Lu Qingwan sat in a private room on the 2nd floor, waiting for the auction to begin. At the same time, in another private room on the 2nd floor, Xiao Rui and Xiao Yun were also waiting for the auction to begin. Both of their eyes were burning with passion. Big brother, 3 golden holy badges have appeared this time. We must get them. If you enter the Void Saint world with the golden holy badges, you will definitely be able to obtain a supreme opportunity and quickly break through to the 9th transformation half-saint realm. Xiao Yun said slowly. That's right. We must get the 3 golden holy badges. However, the temptation of the golden holy badges is too strong. I'm afraid that the other 3 big families and even the disciples of the immortal Holy Lands will compete with us. This time, it seems that we won't be able to get them if we don't put in a lot of effort. Xiao Rui nodded. Even if we have to put in a lot of effort, we won't hesitate. Big brother, I don't understand why you are auctioning the blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede. These are only half-saint herbs. Can they really be auctioned for a high price? Xiao Yun asked doubtfully. The blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede? Those are just bait that I left behind. I want to see who will compete for the blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede. Xiao Rui's eyes revealed a trace of brilliance as he said slowly. Bait. Xiao Yun suddenly thought of something and his heart skipped a beat. A sinister smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. In another private room, the young man and woman from the 5 elements, Saint Sect, stood in front of a young man. Their eyes were filled with respect, and there was no longer a trace of arrogance that they had shown towards Ling Xiao. The young man looked ordinary. This was an extremely ordinary-looking young man. He wore white robes and looked like a frail scholar. He did not give off the slightest aura of worldly affairs, but his eyes seemed to contain the scenes of life and death in the heavens. A single glance at them would make people feel like they were sucked into them and unable to extricate themselves from them. This young man was the son of the Saint World. Senior brother Huang, that Zhao Ritian is too arrogant. He thinks that he has the support of Lu Wenlong and Lu Qingwan. He doesn't care about us at all. He even said that if you want to see him, you have to visit him personally. That's right. Senior brother Huang, Zhao Litian, was just lucky to be able to refine the 5 elements Saint Pill and become a 9-star alchemy grandmaster. Why do we have to look for him? If you want the 5 elements Saint Pill, you can find the Pill Saint of Pill Seal Mountain to refine it. Why do you have to look for Zhao Litian? The pretty woman asked with some doubt. Zhao Litian is able to refine the 5 elements Saint Pill with his 2nd revolution half-saint cultivation. He must have a big secret. Since he wants me to personally pay him a visit, then let's make a trip there after the auction. Huang Xuanzong's voice had a strange fluctuation. His expression was calm, without any joy or sorrow. Senior brother Huang, I heard that there will be 3 golden holy badges in today's auction. Shall we get them? The young man in the black robe said eagerly. 3 golden holy badges. Not bad. But I don't know who is so generous to take out 3 golden holy badges for auction. Our target today is not the golden holy badges, but that treasure. If the price is acceptable, we will get it. If the price is too high, we will go all out and get that treasure. Huang Xuanzong's eyes flashed as he said slowly, "Yes." The young man in the black robe and the pretty lady nodded and said. The auction soon began. She was a beautiful woman who looked to be in her 20s. She was tall, had snow-white skin, and a very hot figure. Especially her pair of breasts that were about to burst out, causing people's eyes to almost pop out of their sockets. Every frown and smile of hers exuded a different kind of charm. She looked very mature and exuded a different kind of seductive aura. "Hello, everyone. I am the deacon of the Fortune Treasure Pavilion, Yao Ji. I will be the host of today's auction. There are more than 10,000 items in today's auction. There are all kinds of heavenly treasures, spiritual pills, and powerful divine weapons. I hope that everyone can get the treasure that you want." The beautiful lady chuckled at the crowd. Her voice was as clear as a bell, and it made everyone's heart skip a beat. She is really a monster. Everyone widened their eyes as their gazes fell on Yao Ji. Some of them were even unscrupulous. This Yao Ji is a ruthless person. Don't be fooled by her beautiful appearance. In fact, she is extremely vicious and merciless. She is ranked first among the 9 deacons. Countless people have tried to get their hands on her, but they all died in her hands. Lu Wenlong said slowly with a hint of fear in his eyes. 8th Revolution Half-Saint Cultivation? She is only a step away from the 9th Revolution Half-Saint. This Yao Ji is really strong. She seems to have cultivated some kind of seduction technique. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he looked at Yao Ji on the auction stage. A shameless woman who only knows how to seduce men. What is there to look at? If you keep looking, your eyeballs will fall out. When Lu Qingwan saw that both Lu Wenlong and Ling Zhao's gazes were on the enchantress, he was instantly displeased and snorted coldly. Lu Wenlong and Ling Zhao looked at each other helplessly. "Everyone, let's not talk too much. Let's start today's auction. Let's welcome the first item, the Horned Dragon Saint Armor." Yao Ji smiled at everyone. Then, a maid came forward with a tray. She opened a jade box on the tray. Suddenly, a dazzling light bloomed. A silver armor appeared in the middle of the box. Chapter 1805. Although this Horned Dragon Saint armor is a half-saint treasure, it's still one of the best among half-saint treasures. If you can completely refine it, you'll be able to withstand the full-force attack of a high-level half-saint for 15 minutes. The starting price is 10,000 drops of holy liquid. Each increment must be at least 1,000 drops of holy liquid. Please make your bids. The enchantress's voice carried a hint of temptation. It had to be said that the Horned Dragon Saint armor's appearance was very attractive. Moreover, it could withstand the full-power attack of a high-level half-saint for 15 minutes. It could be considered as a life-saving treasure. Immediately, many people showed an interested expression and started to bid one after another. 13,000 drops of holy liquid, 14,000 drops of holy liquid, 15,000 drops of holy liquid. Bids rose and fell one after another in the auction hall, and the scene soon became incomparably lively. In the end, the Horned Dragon Saint armor ended up in the hands of a tall young man with a head full of hair at the price of 41,000 drops of saint liquid. The young man looked very simple and honest. He was grinning from ear to ear after the deal was made. "It's a disciple of the Tai family." Lu Wenlong's eyes flashed. He recognized the tall young man as a disciple of the Tai family, one of the 4 major families. Among the 4 major families of Pill Talisman Mountain, the Tai family didn't have much talent in alchemy or talisman. However, they were extremely talented in refining weapons and had great combat strength. Tai Xinlei, that blockhead. It seems like the Tai family has really treated him badly. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so happy with the Horned Dragon Saint armor. Lu Qingwan recognized the young man and shook his head. Next is the second auction item. The seal of mountains and rivers left behind by Saint Oyezi a million years ago. Although it's only a half-finished product, it has the potential to become a flawless holy treasure. The starting price is 100,000 drops of holy liquid. The enchantress's voice rang out again. Ling Zhao didn't intend to participate in the auction. He had been waiting for the blood soul fruit and the nine-headed centipede. However, he didn't expect the second auction item to attract him. This seal of mountains and rivers looks similar to the flipping sky seal? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he carefully stared at the black seal on the auction platform. His heart trembled slightly. The seal of mountains and rivers looked ancient and mysterious. It exuded a wave of vicissitudes, as if it was a miniature mountain, incomparably heavy. Master, you must obtain the seal of mountains and rivers. I can feel that the seal of mountains and rivers is not simple. It has the same aura as the flipping sky seal. Maybe it contains some secret. If I take it, I can feel that the opportunity for me to become a sage is this seal of mountains and rivers. Thunder Spirit King's voice suddenly sounded in Ling Zhao's mind. He was extremely excited. An opportunity to become a saint? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he immediately decided that he had to get this seal of mountains and rivers. As long as the Thunder Spirit King could become a saint, Ling Zhao's fighting power would have a qualitative change. By then, even if he faced a real saint, he would have the power to fight. Originally, the Thunder Spirit King was already on the verge of breaking through, but breaking through was not an easy thing to do. To make the Thunder Spirit King this excited, it could be seen that this seal of mountain and river was not ordinary. Not only Ling Zhao, but many people also showed their interest in the seal of mountains and rivers, and they all began to bid. I bid 110,000 holy liquid. I bid 115,000 holy liquid, 130,000 holy liquid. This seal of mountains and rivers is mine. Soon, after everyone's bidding, the price of the seal of mountains and rivers had already reached 300,000 holy liquid. 300,000 drops of sacred liquid was enough to buy another flawless sacred treasure, so many people began to hesitate, and the bidding became much slower. I bid 400,000 holy liquid. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he directly bid. Originally, 300,000 holy liquid was already very high, and many people were weighing the price. However, they did not expect Ling Zhao to add 100,000 holy liquid in one go. Zhao Ritian, are you crazy? Even if it's the work of Master O Yezi, it's only a prototype. It's not worth so much holy liquid, Lu Qingwan said in disbelief. This seal of mountains and rivers is very useful to me. Its value cannot be measured by holy liquid. Brother Lu, I'm embarrassed now. I'm afraid I'll have to rely on you to help me out later. Ling Zhao smiled slightly, but his voice was very determined. He was determined to get the seal of mountains and rivers. Lu Wenlong said straightforwardly, since it's very useful to Brother Zhao, then bid for it. Brother Zhao, just tell me how much holy liquid you need. Alright, thank you. Ling Zhao smiled slightly. In the Zhao family's box. Big brother, it's that bastard Zhao Ritian's voice. Even if he turns into ashes, I won't remember it wrongly. He's actually participating in the auction in the Lu family's box? Should we give him some trouble? Xiao Yun's eyes revealed a trace of resentment as he gritted his teeth and said. When he thought of the humiliation Ling Zhao brought to him in the Pill and Talisman College, Xiao Yun was so angry that he wanted to go crazy. Even his Taoist heart was a little unstable. Zhao Ritian? It seems like he really needs this seal of mountains and rivers. Then let's help him. If we can get the seal of mountains and rivers so easily, wouldn't it be too easy? Xiao Rui's eyes were deep as he said coldly. Alright. Xiao Yun immediately sneered and said, I'll bid 500,000 drops of holy liquid. Xiao Yun's voice rang out from the room, and it instantly shocked everyone. The entire auction hall instantly became silent. Just now, everyone could tell that someone from the Lu family's box had bid. Now that Xiao Yun was actually raising the price, everyone felt a very strange atmosphere. Were the Lu family and the Xiao family going to fight again? Even those who wanted to continue bidding shook their heads and gave up in the face of such a high price. In the box, Lu Qingwan was instantly enraged. Even Lu Wenlong's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Xiao Yun, that bastard. How dare he not follow the rules and bid so recklessly? Lu Qingwan said angrily. In an auction, there were some unspoken rules. For example, one could not randomly raise the price. There was a kind of tacit understanding between the major families. If they did not need a treasure, they would not maliciously raise the price. Otherwise, if everyone raised the price, it would only end in a lose-lose situation, and the auction house would be the final winner. Xiao Yun did not bid at all, which meant that he was not interested in the seal of mountains and rivers. He only had one goal, and that was to target Ling Xiao. Very good. I want to see what gives him the confidence to bid against me. 550,000 drops of holy liquid. Ling Xiao's voice was very calm, but his eyes turned cold. He bid again. Chapter 1806. Ling Xiao could see that Xiao Yun was deliberately targeting him. However, the seal of mountains and rivers was very important to him. He had to get it at all costs. 600,000 drops of sacred liquid. Xiao Yun's voice sounded once more, and it even carried a trace of ridicule. 650,000 drops of sacred liquid. 700,000 drops of sacred liquid. Only Ling Xiao's and Xiao Yun's voices remained in the auction hall. Everyone's expressions had become somewhat strange. It seemed like the Lu and Xiao clans were really at odds. A mere artifact embryo was actually nearing the price of 1,000,000 drops of saint liquid. Moreover, the two parties seemed to have truly gone all out in this bidding war. The world of the rich is really hard to understand. 1,000,000 drops of sacred liquid is enough to buy a good flawless sacred treasure. Yeah, I really don't understand what they're thinking. Is it worth it to spend so much sacred liquid for one breath? Everyone was discussing animatedly, their eyes filled with incomprehensible expressions. This Xiao Yun is too much. Lu Qingwan was about to explode in anger. He clenched his fists so tightly that his knuckles were cracking. 1,500,000 drops of sacred liquid. When Xiao Yun raised the bid to 1,000,000, Ling Xiao directly raised the bid by 500,000 to 1,500,000 drops. However, Ling Xiao's gaze also became incomparably cold. Xiao Yun had completely angered him. 1,500,000 drops of sacred liquid for a weapon embryo? Grandmaster Zhao Ritian, you're really rich. If that's the case, I'll give it to you. Xiao Yun's incomparably arrogant laughter rang out. He directly gave up on bidding. To be honest, Xiao Yun didn't dare to bid again. If Ling Xiao chose to give up on 1,500,000 drops of sacred liquid, he would lose everything. At that time, he wouldn't even have a place to cry. However, seeing Ling Xiao bleed so much, Xiao Yun was very pleased. The person competing with Xiao Yun is actually the newly promoted 9-star alchemy grandmaster, Zhao Ritian. No wonder Xiao Yun dared to publicly disrupt the situation. It turns out that he's targeting Zhao Ritian. Although Zhao Ritian's talent is extraordinary, it's a pity that he's only a second transformation half-saint. In Taishan City, it can be said that even a strong dragon can't defeat a snake in its own territory. He can't do anything to Xiao Yun. Everyone also understood that the person who made the bid in the box of the Lu family was Zhao Ritian, who had become famous in Taishan City these days. In the end, because Xiao Yun gave up on bidding, Ling Xiao bought the seal of mountains and rivers for the astronomical price of 1.5 drops of holy liquid. However, many people were secretly mocking them. This was the result of offending the Xiao family. In the end, they were tricked by Xiao Yun, so they could only swallow their anger. Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief after obtaining the seal of mountains and rivers. To him, the holy liquid was nothing. However, 5,000,000 drops of holy liquid could help the Thunder Spirit King become a saint. It was definitely a good deal. However, Ling Xiao remembered that he had been tricked by Xiao Yun this time. Following that, dozens of other treasures appeared, but Ling Xiao didn't continue to bid. Everyone thought that Ling Xiao was afraid of Xiao Yun, so they shook their heads and stopped paying attention to him. The next auction item is Star River Primary Iron. Everyone knows that Star River Primary Iron is a top refining material. Not only can it be used to forge a life source sacred treasure, but it can also absorb the power of the stars. It has great potential. The starting price of Star River Primary Iron is 50,000 drops of holy liquid. Yao Ji's voice rang out in the auction hall. The following auction items were all kinds of heavenly treasures, origins sacred medicines, and treasures for refining weapons and talismans. The alchemists and talisman masters who had nothing to do before suddenly seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. Their eyes shone brightly as they rubbed their fists and prepared to participate in the competition. 60,000 drops of holy liquid, 70,000 drops of holy liquid, 100,000 drops of holy liquid. Everyone's voices rose and fell in the auction hall. It was extremely lively. It's actually Star River primary iron? Brother, this Star River primary iron is the size of a fist, and its quality is excellent. If it is integrated into my life source sacred treasure, it will definitely increase my strength. When Xiao Yun saw the Star River primary iron on the auction stage, his body suddenly trembled, and his eyes revealed an extremely hot light. That piece of Star River primary iron was the size of a fist, and its entire body was shining with a silver light. It was gorgeous and dazzling. Mysterious starlight lingered on it, as if it was a star in the sky, and it lit up the entire auction hall. Everyone could feel the majestic power of the stars contained in the Star River primary iron. Alright, you can bid. No one will dare to compete with you for the Star River primary iron. Xiao Rui said indifferently. In Taishan City, the 4 great clans were the local tyrants. Even the disciples of the immortal Holy Land would avoid conflict with the 4 great clans. Therefore, Xiao Rui believed that as long as Xiao Yun made a bid, everyone would go with the flow and give it to Xiao Yun. Alright. Xiao Yun took a deep breath, and then said loudly, "Everyone, I am Xiao Yun, and I am determined to get the Star River primary iron. I hope that everyone can give the Xiao family some face. I bid 200,000 drops of holy liquid." As soon as Xiao Yun's voice came out, everyone hesitated. Xiao Yun immediately added 100,000 drops of holy liquid, which meant that he was determined to get the Star River primary iron. Moreover, the Star River primary iron's value was probably only around 200,000 drops of holy liquid. It was not worth offending Xiao Yun for the Star River primary iron. Everyone, young Master Xiao Yun has bid 200,000 drops of holy liquid. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? This is a top-notch treasure of heaven and earth that can be forged into a supreme sacred treasure. If you miss this opportunity, I'm afraid that it will be difficult to find such a high-quality Star River primary iron again. Yao Ji's seductive voice sounded in the hall. As her eyes wandered, she exuded a powerful charm, as if she was tempting everyone to bid. Yao Ji was also a little dissatisfied with Xiao Yun. This was an auction, and the Xiao family was abusing their power here. Moreover, 200,000 drops of holy liquid was far from the price she had in mind. The final result of the auction was also related to Yao Ji's final commission, so she was naturally dissatisfied with Xiao Yun. However, although Yao Ji was naturally seductive, and her every frown and smile was intoxicating, everyone was more afraid of the Xiao family's power, so they all stopped bidding. 200,000 drops of holy liquid once, 200,000 drops of holy liquid twice, 200,000 drops of holy liquid. Although Yao Ji was very disappointed, she did not show it on her face. She could only announce the final result. However, before she could finish her sentence, she was interrupted by a voice. "I bid 300,000 drops of holy liquid." The voice came from the Lu family box. Chapter 1807. Xiao Yun's face instantly turned livid. "Zhao Ritian, you're courting death." He did not expect Zhao Ritian to interfere and compete with him for the Galaxy Essence Iron. However, Xiao Yun also knew that Zhao Ritian was taking revenge for what he had done to the seal of mountains and rivers. 310,000 drops of sacred liquid. Xiao Yun gritted his teeth and continued to bid. Everyone was stunned. They did not expect Ling Xiao to dare to compete with Xiao Yun. Although the Galaxy Essence Iron was precious, its value was not more than 300,000. Ling Xiao's bid was close to the value of the Galaxy Essence Iron itself. It was not worth it to bid any higher. 350,000 drops of sacred liquid. Ling Xiao continued to speak in a casual manner. "Ha! Well done. Zhao Ritian, fight him with all your might. Xiao Yun, that bastard, has finally met his match? Lu Qinghuan said excitedly as if he had finally vented his anger. 400,000 drops of sacred liquid. Xiao Yun was so depressed that he was about to vomit blood. However, he was determined to obtain the Celestial River Essence Iron. The Xiao family had rarely found Celestial River Essence Iron of such quality in so many years. Once it was integrated into his life source sacred treasure, it would definitely increase his strength greatly. However, Xiao Yun finally understood Ling Zhao's intention. He was slightly regretful, but in the blink of an eye, it was covered by endless anger. Zhao Riken, damn it. 450,000 drops of sacred liquid. Ling Xiao continued to bid calmly, as though the holy liquid wasn't worth anything at all. He was suppressing Xiao Yun just to vent his anger. Just like that, Ling Xiao and Xiao Yun bid one after another. Soon, the price of the Galaxy Essence Iron reached 600,000 drops of sacred liquid. Yao Ji smiled like a peach blossom. She looked at the Lu family box with joy. Forget it, I'll let you have it. Your Xiao family is so overbearing. I don't dare to compete with you. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be able to walk out of Taixin City alive. Ling Xiao said calmly when Xiao Yun bid 800,000 drops of sacred liquid. Pfft. After hearing Ling Zhao's words, Xiao Yun could not hold it in anymore. He spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were filled with hatred. He even looked like he was about to go crazy. Brother, calm down. Don't be agitated. Zhao Ritian is courting death. I will not let him go. Xiao Rui quickly took out a healing pill and fed it to Xiao Yun. At the same time, the majestic saint energy in his body surged into Xiao Yun's body, suppressing his inner demon that was about to go berserk. Xiao Rui's gaze also became incomparably cold with a trace of murderous intent. Everyone was speechless. What do you mean by the Xiao clan is overbearing? You don't dare to compete with the Xiao clan? Then what were you doing earlier? Yet, after making the Xiao clan suffer such a huge loss, they're still pretending to be innocent? Shameless, simply too shameless. But I like it. Everyone was silently cursing in their hearts. However, being able to see the tyrannical Xiao family suffer a loss, they felt incomparably carefree in their hearts. But this was just the beginning. In the following auctions, as long as the Xiao clan took a fancy to a treasure, Ling Xiao would definitely appear to disrupt the auction. It was as if he didn't care about the value of the auction item at all and would only go against the Xiao clan. In the end, the Xiao clan had no choice but to buy all kinds of treasures at a price much higher than the estimated price. Of course, the Xiao clan also learned from their mistakes and cheated Ling Xiao quite a bit. Many auction items also fell into Ling Xiao's hands at a very high price, but Ling Xiao didn't seem to care at all. The Xiao clan hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. Everyone looked as if they were watching a good show. Every time Ling Xiao and the Xiao clan were at each other's throats, they would all give up on bidding. However, very quickly, everyone began to curse. This was because Ling Xiao wasn't just going against the Xiao clan. As long as he took a fancy to a treasure, it was as if he didn't care about the price at all and would directly bid. This caused many alchemists and talisman masters' faces to turn green. This Zhao Riqian is simply shameless, bastard, despicable. An alchemist master with white hair and beard scolded loudly. His beard was trembling in anger. He doesn't know what's good for him. Could it be that he wants to make everyone his enemy? He still has the face to say that the Xiao clan is overbearing? I think he's even more overbearing than the Xiao clan. Those alchemists and talisman masters all scolded and glared at Ling Xiao. Their expressions were extremely ugly. In the private room of the Five Elements Saint sect. Saint Sun, this Zhao Ritian is really reckless. He actually dares to offend so many people? I think his reputation is going to be ruined soon. The black-robed young man said to Huang Xuanzong with an incomparably pleased expression. It's fine if he offended the Xiao clan, but he actually dared to offend alchemists and talisman masters. He's really a newborn calf that isn't afraid of tigers. However, what I'm more curious about is, where did this kid get so much saint liquid? Huang Xuanzong's eyes had a trace of astonishment. After hearing Huang Xuanzong's words, the two Five Elements Saint sect members couldn't help but tremble. They suddenly realized that the value of the treasures Huang Xuanzong had obtained during this period of time had almost reached 10 million drops of saint liquid. What kind of concept was 10 million drops of saint liquid? Perhaps many Ninth Revolution half-saints didn't have so much wealth. Many small clans might only be able to accumulate so many resources after hundreds or thousands of years. This kid has a secret on him. The young man and woman from the Five Elements Saint sect looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with a trace of passion and greed. In the private room of the Lu clan, Zhao Ritian, it's fine if you offend Xiao Yun. In any case, that guy isn't a good person. However, why do you have to become enemies with so many alchemists and talisman masters? They're not to be trifled with. Lu Qinghuan said as he looked at Ling Xiao with a headache. The eyes of those alchemists and talisman masters outside were very cold. If looks could kill, they would have already dragged Ling Xiao out of the private room and chopped him to death. Become enemies with them? I didn't become enemies with anyone. Of course, Xiao Yun is an exception. The auction is where the highest bidder wins. I just bid when I see a treasure that I like. Is there a problem? They can't afford it, so they're blaming it on me? Ling Xiao said with a cold smile. He simply didn't put those alchemists and talisman masters in his eyes. In Ling Xiao's view, those guys were a group of people who only cared about benefits. This time, they clearly came as a group. As long as an alchemist or talisman master encountered a treasure that they liked or needed, they would rarely bid. This was also to prevent the price of the treasure from being too high. It had already become an unspoken rule in their hearts. However, Ling Xiao wasn't a member of their small group. He was too lazy to care about what they thought. He just followed his heart and bid when he saw something that he liked. Chapter 1808. That's right. These so-called alchemists and talisman craftsmen are nothing but a motley crew. Brother Zhao, just bid whatever you need. Don't bother about them. Lu Wenlong said with a smile. Brother Lu is still the best. Ling Xiao nodded with a smile. The next item is the half-saint herb, the blood soul fruit. Yao Ji's voice sounded, causing Ling Xiao and Lu Wenlong's eyes to flash. It was finally the blood soul fruit. The blood soul fruit is a half-saint herb. Although it contains poison, it has an extremely mysterious power. Perhaps it can allow one to comprehend the origin of the blood Dao. Moreover, it's a necessary supplementary ingredient for refining ancient elixirs. A blood-colored spiritual fruit appeared in Yao Ji's hand. It looked resplendent with mysterious runes on it. It was enveloped by a transparent barrier and looked extremely demonic. The blood soul fruit was extremely poisonous. Even the smell of the blood soul fruit could cause one to be poisoned, so it had to be enveloped by a barrier. The blood soul fruit was very rare. Normally, it would only appear in some ancient secret realms. Immediately, many alchemists revealed expressions of interest. The starting price is 10,000 drops of saint liquid. Each increment must be at least 1,000 drops of saint liquid. Everyone please bid. As soon as Yao Ji's voice fell, a few alchemists immediately began to bid. 20,000 drops of saint liquid, 25,000 drops of saint liquid, 40,000 drops of saint liquid. Soon, the price of the blood soul fruit began to rise. Big brother, it seems like the blood soul fruit can be auctioned for quite a bit of saint liquid. Do you want me to raise the price a little? Xiao Yun's eyes were filled with excitement as he spoke to Xiao Ru. No need. The blood soul fruit and the nine-headed centipede are just bait. I want to see who will get them in the end. Xiao Rui's eyes were deep as he spoke slowly. 100,000 drops of saint liquid. Ling Xiao bid. Instantly, everyone was about to curse in their hearts. This shit-stirrer was here to mess things up again. Does he really need the blood soul fruit, or is he just messing around? Xiao Rui's eyes flashed as he stared at the Lu family's box with uncertainty. 110,000 drops of saint liquid. At this moment, an indifferent voice rang out from the Five Elements Saint Sex box. Senior Brother Huang, do you like blood soul fruits? According to what I know, the blood soul fruit doesn't have any great use, right? The pretty girl from the Five Elements Saint sect asked doubtfully. I'm interested. Perhaps it will be useful to me. Huang Xuanzong said indifferently. Ling Xiao could not help but frown. This situation was somewhat out of his expectations. It seemed that many people were interested in the blood soul fruit. However, Ling Xiao was determined to obtain the blood soul fruit and absolutely could not allow it to fall into the hands of others. 200,000 drops of holy liquid. This blood soul fruit looks delicious. I Zhao Ritian want it. Ling Xiao's voice carried a hint of savagery and arrogance as it rang out from the box. 200,000 drops of holy liquid? Where did this bastard get so much saint liquid? Everyone felt disgusted. Zhao Ritian had already spent tens of millions of saint liquid, yet he still dared to bid. Instantly, those alchemists who were interested in the blood soul fruit began to hesitate. This was because 200,000 drops of sacred liquid had already exceeded the price of a half-saint medicine. Even the blood soul fruit was somewhat expensive. 210,000 drops of sacred liquid. Huang Xuanzong continued to bid. His voice was very calm. 300,000 drops of sacred liquid. 310,000 drops of sacred liquid. In the end, only the voices of Ling Xiao and Huang Xuanzong were left in the hall. There was even a faint sign that they were about to fight it out. Who is it that wants the blood soul fruit between the two of them? Is it Zhao Ritian or Huang Xuanzong? Xiao Rui muttered. There was a trace of doubt in his eyes. Although Ling Xiao had been bidding, it seemed that Ling Xiao was a troublemaker. It was hard to say if he was really interested in the blood soul fruit. On the contrary, Xiao Rui was even more suspicious of Huang Xuanzong. Huang Xuanzong was the saint's son of the Five Elements Saint sect. To him, not to mention a mere half-saint medicine, even an origin saint medicine was nothing. However, why was he so interested in the blood soul fruit? Master Zhao, if you agree to my next condition, I will directly bid for the blood soul fruit and give it to you. How about it? Huang Xuanzong said slowly. It's just a blood soul fruit and you want me to agree to your condition? Who do you think you are? I just can't take this lying down. I'd like to see how you're going to compete with me. I'll bid 500,000 drops of saint liquid. Ling Xiao sneered. In fact, his heart was bleeding a little. Previously, he had only spent over 200,000 drops of sacred liquid to exchange for the 98 half-saint herbs in the Alchemy and Talisman Academy. Now, he was offering 500,000 drops of sacred liquid for a single blood soul fruit. 500,000 drops of saint liquid? Master Zhao is really rich. I'll give this blood soul fruit to you. Huang Xuanzong frowned slightly. 500,000 drops of saint liquid for a single blood soul fruit was indeed a little too high. Although Huang Xuanzong was rich, he wasn't willing to be a spendthrift. In the end, he gave up. The blood soul fruit fell into Ling Zhao's hands. However, everyone looked at the Lu family's box as if they were looking at a fool. Zhao Ritian added another label in their hearts. Prodigal, he was simply too prodigal. 500,000 drops of saint liquid could buy an inferior origin saint medicine. This guy actually used it to buy a half-saint medicine. Regardless of what others thought, Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. He had finally obtained the blood soul fruit. As long as he got the nine-headed centipede, he would have all the ingredients to refine the eternal rejuvenation pill. The next item is an ancient poisonous insect, the nine-headed centipede. Yao Ji's voice resounded. A golden cage appeared on the auction stage. It looked dazzling and was engraved with all kinds of mysterious runes. In the cage, there was a nine-headed centipede that was about a foot long. Its entire body was silver as if it was made of silver. It emitted a dazzling divine glow. However, its 9 heads looked extremely ferocious. Its pair of blood-red and cold eyes made people shudder. The 9-headed centipede is extremely poisonous. Even a half-saint would die instantly after being bitten by the 9-headed centipede. If you can refine it, it will be a trump card and a sharp weapon for self-defense. Moreover, the 9-headed centipede can also be used to refine powerful poison pills. The starting price is 30,000 drops of saint liquid. Yao Ji's voice was very provocative when she introduced the 9-headed centipede. 40,000 drops of Saint Liquid. 50,000 drops of Saint Liquid. Many people had a strong interest in this poisonous insect. Especially after being bitten by it, even a half-saint would die instantly. They all wanted to refine it and use it as a trump card for self-defense. Chapter 1809. 500,000 drops of holy liquid. This 9-headed centipede is fated to be with me. You should give up. Just as everyone was intensely participating in the bidding, Ling Zhao's voice rang out once again. Everyone was about to curse. Who would play like this? This Zhao Ritian was simply a bastard. Someone else had bid 100,000 drops of holy liquid, but he had directly increased it to 500,000. How were they supposed to compete? On the other hand, Xiao Rui's gaze instantly became extremely sharp. It's actually him? Xiao Rui muttered to himself as a strange light flashed in his eyes. The 9-headed centipede was quickly bought by Ling Xiao for 500,000 drops of holy liquid. Everyone simultaneously glared at Ling Xiao. With such a disruptor in today's auction, their hearts were incomparably sullen. Many of the treasures that they had their eyes on could only watch as Ling Xiao bought them at a high price. The feeling of being crushed in terms of wealth was truly unpleasant, especially those alchemists and talisman masters. Usually they thought highly of themselves and were extremely wealthy. However, they were completely crushed by Zhao Ritian today. What is the background of this bastard Zhao Ritian? Everyone rubbed their gums. Ling Xiao was becoming more and more mysterious in their hearts. I've finally gotten the blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede. 1,000,000 drops of holy liquid. It's worth it. Ling Xiao smiled slightly as he heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Zhao Ritian, are you stupid? The blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede are not worth so much holy liquid. You're simply a prodigal. Lu Qingwan said with some envy and jealousy. You can't say that. Perhaps in your eyes, the blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede are not worth so much holy liquid. However, in my eyes, they are priceless treasures. It's worth it no matter how much holy liquid I pay. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. In this auction, he had obtained the blood soul fruit and the 9-headed centipede, as well as some unexpected surprises such as the seal of mountains and rivers. This made Ling Xiao extremely satisfied, so he did not plan to participate in the following auctions. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. After Ling Xiao obtained the 9-headed centipede, he indeed chose not to participate in the auction. Everyone guessed that this prodigal son had spent most of his holy liquid, so they couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. Without Ling Xiao's interference, the rest of the auction became much more normal. Everyone began to participate in the auction step by step, and there were no longer any unreasonable high prices like before. Yao Ji, on the other hand, was rather disappointed. She threw flirtatious glances at the Lu family box again and again, hoping that Ling Xiao would continue to interfere. However, to her disappointment, Ling Xiao did not do anything at all. Brother Zhao, this enchantress seems to be interested in you. If you have any ideas, I can ask Wang Lang to introduce her to you. Lu Wenlong smiled and said, her figure is not bad. Big breasts and perky buttocks. She's good for fertility. But he's too old. How can he match up to the handsome and extraordinary me? Ling Xiao glanced at Enchantress and spouted nonsense with a straight face. That Enchantress is a slutty vixen. The two of you have no taste at all. Lu Qingwan looked at Lu Wenlong and Ling Xiao with some disdain, especially when she saw that Lu Wenlong and Ling Xiao's gazes had landed on Yao Ji. A trace of displeasure appeared in her heart for no reason. Kid, go play at the side. You won't understand. This kind of woman is the best. Ling Xiao looked at Lu Qingwan and teased her. Lu Qingwan was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She could not wait to pounce on Ling Xiao and bite him a few times. After almost a day, the auction finally came to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the auction of the finale of this auction. That is the 3 golden holy badges that everyone has been waiting for. Enchantress smiled at the crowd. Her eyes were like silk, and her entire body was exuding a seductive charm. Her voice was extremely provocative. She could not help but look up at the Lu family box because she knew that the owner of the 3 golden holy badges was the mysterious Grandmaster Zhao Ritan. The auction of the golden holy badges has finally begun. Everyone could not help but tremble. Their eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. What was the most important thing to the half-saint experts? It was not the origin source sacred medicine, the flawless sacred treasure, or the powerful sacred technique. It was the holy badges. As long as one had the holy badges, they would be able to enter the Void Saint world and obtain countless precious inheritances. In the Void Saint world, they could even compete with the countless geniuses and experts in the Void Saint world to hone their cultivation and will. However, the holy badges were one-time use treasures. They were extremely precious, especially the golden holy badges, which were even rarer. Therefore, the appearance of 3 golden holy badges in this auction naturally made many geniuses and experts extremely excited. The 3 golden holy badges will be auctioned separately. The starting price of each golden holy badge is 1 million sacred liquids. Each increment must not be less than 10,000 sacred liquids. As for what the golden holy badges are, I'm sure everyone knows. There's no need for me to explain. In short, this is a supreme opportunity and treasure of creation for a half-saint expert. Now, the auction for the first golden holy badge begins. Yao Ji said to the crowd with a smile. Although 1 million sacred liquids was a sky-high price and could even buy the origin source sacred medicine and flawless sacred treasure, which made many people flinch at the sight of it, there were still many people who rubbed their palms together and began to bid. Among them, the most enthusiastic ones were naturally the disciples of the 4 major families and many immortal saint lands. 1,500,000 drops of sacred liquids. A thunderous voice resounded. It was extremely loud and exuded a domineering aura of determination. It's Tai Xinyuan from the Tai family. A glint flashed across Lu Wenlong's eyes. In this auction, the Tai family's box basically didn't bid much. Who would have thought that they would immediately bid for the first golden holy badge? 1,600,000 drops of sacred liquids. Xiao Rui's voice also came from the Xiao family box. 1,700,000 drops of sacred liquids. 1,780,000 drops of sacred liquids. In the entire hall, the big shots in the boxes on the second floor began to bid. At this moment, it was as if the sacred liquids were not sacred liquids at all. In order to obtain the golden holy badge, they all began to bid. I didn't expect the golden holy badge to be so valuable. Ling Xiao was also slightly surprised. He originally thought that a golden holy badge would at most be worth 2 million drops of sacred liquids. However, it seemed like the price of the golden holy badge would far exceed his expectations and imagination. The rarer something is, the more valuable it is. This is a golden holy badge. For the opportunity to become a martial saint, for the inheritance of a martial saint, they will definitely obtain it at all costs. To these big families, big forces, and even the immortal saint lands, the sacred liquids are nothing. This kind of irreplaceable treasure is the most important. Lu Wenlong said with some emotion. The Lu family did not participate in the bidding for the golden holy badge because Ling Xiao had previously promised Lu Wenlong and Lu Qingwan that he would sell 2 golden holy badges to them at the final price. This made them extremely surprised and extremely grateful to Ling Xiao. At this moment, seeing how everyone was frantically competing for the golden holy badge, they had a more intuitive understanding of the value of the golden holy badge. Chapter 1810. 3 million drops of holy liquid. Right at this moment, a clear and cold voice rang out in the auction hall, causing everyone's eyes to involuntarily tremble. It's Lin Shi from the Lin family? I didn't expect her to participate in this auction. Someone exclaimed. Immediately, everyone's gaze shifted to a private room on the second floor. Lin Shi from the Lin family was the most dazzling genius of the Lin family. She was already an 8th revolution half-saint, And she was also a 9-star alchemy grandmaster and a 9-star talisman grandmaster. Lin Shi had a peerless appearance and talent, and the Lin family was the most powerful family among the 4 major families, so Lin Shi naturally became the object of admiration for many disciples of Pil Seal Mountain. Even Lu Wenlong, Xiao Rui, and Tai Xinyuan couldn't help but tremble when they heard Lin Shi's voice, and their eyes revealed a trace of passion. "It's Lin Shi? I didn't expect her to come too. Brother, why are you still looking? Your eyeballs are about to pop out." Lu Qingwan's eyes also revealed a trace of complexity. When she glanced at Lu Wenlong from the corner of her eyes, she immediately said in a bad mood, "Lin Shi is out of seclusion. I'm afraid her cultivation has broken through again this time. Compared to her, Xiao, Tai Xinyan, and I seem to have fallen behind." Lu Wenlong said with a wry smile. "What is she proud of? Give me a few more years, and I will definitely surpass her." Lu Qingwan said with some dissatisfaction. "Is this Lin Shi very famous?" Ling Xiao asked with some surprise. "Of course she's famous. Lin Shi is known as the #1 genius of Pil Seal Mountain. Not only is she a 9-star alchemy grandmaster, but she is also a 9-star talisman grandmaster. The key is that her talent in cultivation is also superb, and she has already reached the 8th revolution half-saint. The most important person is my brother, Xiao Rui, and Tai Xinyun are all in love with Lin Shi, but unfortunately, she has no interest in them at all." Lu Qingwan said in a bad mood. "Oh, then I really want to see what kind of peerless beauty she is." Ling Xiao smiled slightly, and a trace of curiosity appeared in his eyes. After Lin Shi bid 3 million drops of holy liquid, the auction hall fell into a strange silence. No one dared to bid anymore. "Ha! Congratulations, little sister Lin. Only little sister Lin is worthy of this golden holy badge. Ironheart Ape, give up." Ironheart Yuan's hearty laughter rang out from the box. "Junior sister Lin's talent is peerless. She is the most suitable person to obtain this golden holy badge. I also give up. I hope that junior sister Lin can become a saint as soon as possible." Xiao Rui said confidently. His voice was very gentle. Compared to his usual aloof and domineering attitude, it was as if he was a completely different person. "I also give up. I'll give this golden holy badge to junior sister Lin." Even the holy son of the 5 elements saint sect, Huang Xuanzong, chose to give up on bidding and gave the golden badge to Lin Shi. Lu Wenlong smiled bitterly and shook his head. He didn't say anything, but it was clear that he didn't intend to continue bidding. "Thank you for your kindness, senior brothers. Lin Shi doesn't deserve it." A cold voice rang out from the box of the Lin family. It was ethereal, as if there wasn't a trace of emotion. Seeing that Lu Wenlong, Ironheart Yuan, Xiao Rui and Huang Xuanzong, the 4 peerless geniuses, had chosen to give up on bidding for the golden holy badge, the others naturally wouldn't be foolish enough to compete with Lin Shi. Not only would they not be able to win against Lin Shi, they might even offend the 4 peerless geniuses. It was simply not worth it. In the end, the first golden holy badge was obtained by Lin Shi at the price of 3 million drops of saint liquid. Ling Xiao was a little annoyed. He could feel that if it wasn't for Lin Shi's interference, the price of the golden holy badge would be far more than 3 million drops of saint liquid. Those bastards pretended to be gentlemanly, but they made him lose so much saint liquid. Even Ling Xiao was a little unhappy with Lin Shi. Next up is the second golden holy badge. The demoness voice rang out in the auction hall. Everyone's spirits were lifted. Although the first golden holy badge had been snatched away by Lin Shi, there were a total of 3 golden holy badges. They might still have a chance. 1,500,000 drops of saint liquid, 1,800,000 drops of saint liquid, 2 million drops of saint liquid. Everyone was excited. Soon, the price of the second golden holy badge began to rise. At this moment, a cold voice rang out from the Lin family's box. 3 million drops of saint liquid. Lin Shi made another bid. This time, even Tai Xinyuan, Xiao Rui, and Huang Xuanzong couldn't remain calm. Lin Shi seemed to be deliberately disrupting the situation. Everyone had already given her a golden holy badge, Yet she still wanted to continue bidding. Could it be that she really thought that no one would bid against her? Everyone, this is a golden holy badge that I bought on behalf of a good friend. I hope that senior brothers can give way to she will be eternally grateful. The door of the Liu family's box opened. A figure walked out and bowed to everyone. Her voice was as clear and pleasant as a bell, ethereal and ethereal. Lin Shi actually walked out from the Lin family's box. Everyone's gaze instantly fell on Lin Shi. Lin Shi was wearing a loose black robe, but it couldn't hide her alluring figure under the black robe. Her skin was as white as jade, and her figure was very hot. Her entire body was emitting an endless aura of seduction. However, her face looked very cold, beautiful and refined. She was as pure as a snow lotus in the heavenly mountain. She was awe-inspiring and inviolable. This kind of seduction and pure temperament had actually reached a perfect balance on her body. Everyone couldn't help but tremble in their hearts. Their eyes revealed an incomparably intoxicated look. Compared to Lin Shi, even the enchantress seemed to be overshadowed. Since you're Sister Lin's friend, you're also my friend. It's just a golden holy badge. If it can make Sister Lin happy, it's worth it. I hope that everyone will give me, Tai Xingyan, some face and give the golden holy badge to Sister Lin. Tai Xingyan also laughed out loud. He walked out from the Tai family's box, and his voice was incomparably domineering. Everyone was about to curse in their hearts. Tai Xingyan, you're trying to curry favor, but you still dare to threaten everyone? Can you be any more shameless? However, everyone only cursed in their hearts, and no one dared to say it out loud. It's just a golden holy badge. Junior Sister Lin is more suitable to be its owner. Xiao Rui and Huang Xuanzong also smiled faintly. The number 1 genius of Pill Talisman Mountain, a 9-star alchemist grandmaster and a 9-star talisman grandmaster. Moreover, everyone noticed that when Lin Shi came out of seclusion this time, even her cultivation had broken through to the peak of the 9th revolution half-saint realm. Chapter 1811. On behalf of my friend, Xie would like to thank all of you for your help. Lin Shi smiled at the crowd. Her smile was like 100 flowers blooming, intoxicating the crowd. Although Enchantress was not happy, she could not say anything. The smile on her face faded a little as she calmly announced, 3 million drops of holy liquid going once, 3 million drops of holy liquid going twice, 3 million drops of holy liquid. Just when everyone thought that the second golden holy badge would fall into Yao Ji's hands, a lazy voice interrupted Yao Ji. I've been thinking of going to the Void Saint world to train and see if I can break through to the Pill Saint realm. This golden holy badge is not bad. I'll take it. 4 million drops of holy liquid. The smiles on everyone's faces froze as they looked in the same direction. The voice came from the box of the Liu family. Ling Xiao made a bid. Yao Ji's eyes suddenly lit up, and a smile appeared on her lips. She naturally knew that the owner of the golden sacred token was Ling Xiao. She was afraid that Ling Xiao was unhappy with Lin Shi, so he had deliberately raised the price, but she naturally couldn't tell everyone. The shit stirrer is here again. Everyone had the same thought in their hearts. This Zhao Ritian was really a weirdo. He did not even give face to Fairy Lin Shi. Although Zhao Ritian was a 9-star alchemy grandmaster, he was still a far cry from Fairy Lin Shi. What gave him the confidence to compete with Fairy Lin Shi for the golden holy badge? The smile on Lin Shi's face disappeared as she looked deeply into the Liu family's box. Ling Xiao could feel that Lin Shi's gaze seemed to be able to penetrate everything, landing directly on him, causing him to feel a chill run down his spine. I technique superpower? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. Zhao Ritian, how dare you compete with Fairy Lin Shi for the golden holy badge? Are you tired of living? The loud Ironheart ape's eyes turned cold as he roared. His voice was like a thunderclap. He looked very strong and muscular. His body was like a dragon, and his blood was boiling. His long black hair was loose, and he looked extremely wild. His eyes were blazing and aggressive. Brother Iron, this Zhao Ritian is not a good person. His so-called 9-star alchemy grandmaster title might have been obtained by cheating. Such a person still wants to obtain the golden sacred badge and enter the void sacred world? This is simply a fool's dream. Xiao Rui said coldly. Although Huang Xuanzong did not say anything, it was clear that he was also watching the show. He was happy to see Zhao Ritian being targeted like this. Ling Xiao sneered and said, "Iron-hearted Yuan, Xiao Ri, this is an auction. The highest bidder wins. If I want to bid, I'll bid. What does it have to do with you? You guys are willing to kneel and lick others' boots, but I'm not interested in that." Both Tai Xinyuan and Xiao Rui's eyes turned cold, and they became extremely unfriendly. They stared at the Lu clan's box, and a terrifying aura loomed around them. At this time, Lin Shi suddenly smiled and said, "What this Grandmaster Zhao said is right, the highest bidder wins the auction. I really need this golden holy token, 4,500,000 drops of holy liquid. 5 million drops of holy liquid. Celestial Maiden Lin Shi, if you don't have the holy liquid, I can lend it to you. However, I think this golden holy badge is more destined for me." Ling Xiao said with a smile, as if 5 million drops of holy liquid were nothing to him. 5 million drops of holy liquid? Everyone couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Did Zhao Ritian really have so much holy liquid? In total, he had already spent more than 10 million drops of holy liquid in the auction. I suspect that Zhao Ritian doesn't have so much holy liquid. He's only a second revolution half-saint. Where did he get so much holy liquid? The Fortune Treasure Pavilion should conduct a strict investigation. He's just a troublemaker. At this time, Xiao Yun also said coldly. Everyone's gaze fell on Yao Ji, wanting to see how she would deal with this matter. Yao Ji said indifferently, "You don't have to worry about this kind of thing. Anyone who bids in the Fortune Treasure Pavilion will go through a strict investigation. If you can't pay enough holy liquid, don't even think about leaving the Fortune Treasure Pavilion alive. This Grandmaster Zhao has the right to bid." As soon as Yao Ji finished speaking, everyone looked at Ling Xiao in a different light. Yao Ji's words meant that the Fortune Treasure Pavilion had really conducted a thorough investigation. Grandmaster Zhao Ritian's value was actually more than 10 million drops of holy liquid. Very well. Grandmaster Zhao, I didn't expect you to be so rich. But I won't let go of the golden holy badge. I'll pay 6 million drops of holy liquid. Lin Shi's expression changed slightly. And those who were familiar with her knew that this young lady was really angry. There was someone in Taishan City who didn't give Lin Shi face. The consequences were serious. 6,500,000 drops of holy liquid. I don't lack holy liquid. Fairy Lin, you're too stingy. Ling Xiao said with a smile. 8 million drops of holy liquid. Zhao Ritian, I'll remember you. Lin Shi said suddenly. Her breathing was a little hurried. Her chest rose and fell, revealing a perfect curve that could drive people crazy. She bit her teeth and called out a sky-high price. 8 million drops of holy liquid? Fairy Lin, you win. I give up. Ling Xiao pondered for a moment, then suddenly smiled and chose to give up. It seems that Zhao Ritian can't take it anymore. That's right. No matter how rich he is, how can he be compared to Fairy Lin? Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that Zhao Ritian couldn't take it anymore. He's puffing himself up at his own cost. He doesn't know what's good for him. Iron-hearted Yuan and Xiao Rui both laughed coldly. Lin Shi's eyes became a little suspicious. She had a bad feeling in her heart. It seemed that she had been cheated. She also hated Ling Xiao. She could have gotten the golden holy badge with 3 million drops of holy liquid, but because of Ling Xiao, she had to spend an extra 5 million drops of holy liquid. Even though the Lin family was rich, Lin Shi still felt the pinch. Zhao Ritian, you're really shameless, really shameless. Pa, I like it. Now Lin Shi is dumbfounded, right? In the Lu family's box, Lu Qingwan laughed very happily, like a little fox. Lu Wenlong only had a bitter smile on his face. He knew that Lin Shi had been cheated by Ling Xiao, but he couldn't say anything. Just like that, the second golden holy badge was bought by Lin Shi at the sky-high price of 8 million drops of holy liquid. The enchantress was laughing in her heart. She was more and more satisfied with Ling Xiao. It was as if she could see a large amount of holy liquid in her pocket. If Ling Xiao appeared in front of her now, she couldn't wait to rush up and kiss him a few times. Everyone, there's only one golden holy badge left. This is the supreme treasure that leads directly to the Void Saint world. This is the key to opening the door to the sage's inheritance. Aren't you going to act? The last golden holy badge will be auctioned at a starting price of 1,000,000 drops of holy liquid. Please make your bids. The enchantress's tempting voice rang out in the auction hall again. Chapter 1813. There were a total of 3 golden holy badges, but 2 of them had already landed in Lin Shi's hands. There was only one left. Everyone's gaze fell on Lin Shi, and they looked at her inquisitively. If Lin Shi was also interested in this golden holy badge, then everyone would have no chance at all. Lin Shi smiled faintly and said, 2 golden holy badges are enough. I won't participate in the auction for this golden holy badge. Lin Shi's words made the crowd heave a sigh of relief. Since Sister Lin has bought the golden holy badge, I have to get this one no matter what and enter the Void Saint world with Sister Lin. I want this golden holy badge for 3,000,000 drops of holy liquid. Tai Xingyuan's eyes were burning as he glanced at the crowd. He immediately added 2,000,000 drops of holy liquid. Moreover, with the Tai clan's overbearingness and his identity as the young master of the Tai clan, ordinary people did not dare to compete with him. They all lowered their heads. Brother Tai, it should be me and Sister Lin entering the Void Saint world together. I want this golden holy badge for 4,000,000 drops of holy liquid. Xiao Rui's faint voice rang out. Others might be afraid of Tai Xingyun, but he was not. Moreover, how could he lose out in front of Sister Lin Shi? The 2 of you should stop fighting. This golden holy badge is fated with me. 5,000,000 drops of holy liquid. Huang Xuanzong said with a faint smile. Then he joined in. Everyone's eyes revealed a subtle look. The 3 of them were peerless geniuses with extraordinary talents. Huang Xuanzong was the leader of the younger generation of the 5 Elements Saint sect. In terms of talent and status, he surpassed Tai Xingyuan and Xiao Ru. However, for Lin Shi, he also joined in the competition. The crowd did not believe that the 5 Elements Saint sect did not even have a golden holy badge. Huang Xuanzong's target could only be Lin Shi. However, what puzzled everyone was that Lu Yunlong of the Lu clan had no intention of competing for the golden holy badge. Logically speaking, he was also Lin Shi's admirer. Why did he not choose to fight? In the Lu clan's box, Lu Wenlong actually wanted to bid, but he was stopped by Ling Xiao. Brother Lu, I have already agreed to give you a golden holy badge. Why are you joining in the fun? Moreover, if you compete with the 3 of them, I'm afraid that Lin Shi will not notice you. If you want to attract Lin Shi's attention, you have to find another way and loosen the reins only to grasp them better. First, you have to pretend that you don't care about her. With Lin Shi's arrogance, she will naturally be curious about you, don't you think so? Ling Xiao spouted nonsense to Lu Wenlong. However, Lu Wenlong's eyes lit up as he looked at Ling Xiao with admiration. Especially when he glanced at Lin Shi from the corner of his eyes, he became even more excited. Brother Zhao is a god. Look, isn't junior apprentice Sister Lin Shi looking at me? Outside, Lin Shi's gaze coincidentally landed on the Lu family box. There was some doubt in her eyes as she muttered to herself, as if she was hesitating about something. That's right, Lin Shi is just curious about why you aren't bidding. Stay calm. Keep it up. Ling Zhao's heart jumped in fright as he coughed lightly. He could faintly feel that Lin Shi had probably realized that she had been tricked, and it was not like what Lu Wenlong had said. Vixen. Lu Qingwan looked at Ling Xiao and Lu Wenlong with some disdain, then looked at Lin Shi outside with hostility and said, "The last golden holy badge surrounded Iron Heart Yuan, Xiao Rui, and Huang Xuanzong. The 3 of them did not seem to give in. They all began to bid, not wanting Lin Shi to look down on them. However, when Huang Xuanzong called out a high price of 8,000,000 drops of holy liquid, Iron Heart Yuan and Xiao Rui hesitated. This was already the price of the second golden holy badge, and it was also the highest price of a treasure in the entire auction so far. It was not that Ironheart Yuan and Xiao Rui could not afford the price, but they were all here for the last treasure. If it was just for a golden holy badge, it did not seem worth it. You too, it seems that you have to let me win. Huang Xuanzong smiled indifferently, looking very elegant. Ironheart Yuan glanced at Lin Shi in the distance, and suddenly gritted his teeth and said, "Brother Huang, I think this golden holy badge is more fated with me. I bid 10 million drops of holy liquid." When Ironheart Yuan's voice came out, not only Xiao Rui and Huang Xuanzong, but even everyone's expression changed. 10 million drops of holy liquid was simply an unimaginable price. It was enough to buy those powerful holy treasures. It had already far exceeded the price of a golden holy badge. However, everyone knew that the golden holy badge would be gone with each use. It was impossible to measure its price with holy liquid. Moreover, most of the 10 million drops of holy liquid were probably due to personal feelings. As expected of the young masters of the 4 major families in Pill Seal Mountain, each of them was more generous than the other. 10 million drops of holy liquid? Brother Iron, you are really bold. However, it seems that Brother Iron does not intend to compete for that treasure. Since that is the case, I will give up. Xiao Rui looked deeply at Ironheart Yuan and said slowly, "Anyway, that item is not very useful to me. I will leave it to you guys to compete for it. I am more interested in going to the Void Saint world with Sister Lin." The Ironheart ape grinned, looking very pleased with himself. "I will give up too." Huang Xuanzong frowned and also chose to give up. In the end, the golden holy badge fell into Ironheart Yuan's hands at the sky-high price of 10 million drops of holy liquid. However, Ling Xiao was very sharp. When Yao Ji announced that the 10 million drops of holy liquid had been sold, Ironheart Yuan's eyes flashed with a hint of pain. However, he concealed it very well. "Brother Zhao, it seems that the biggest winner in this auction is you. 3 golden holy badges actually brought you 21 million drops of holy liquid. It is really unimaginable." Lu Wenlong laughed bitterly. Although he was the young master of the Lu family, he was also a little envious of Ling Xiao. "Hee, I was also lucky." Ling Xiao smiled slightly. Obviously, he was very satisfied. In this way, other than the various treasures that he had auctioned off previously, he still had a large surplus. This was also something that he had not expected. "Brother Lu, I see that the 4 major families and the 5 elements Saint sect have all come. I am afraid that you are not just here for the auction, right? Could it be that there are some treasures that all of you have to compete for?" Ling Xiao asked with a hint of curiosity in his eyes. Lu Wenlong nodded. Just as he was about to say something, his eyes suddenly lit up. "It is that treasure." In the auction hall, a few old men with terrifying auras carried a golden box and walked in. Then, they used a very complicated method to open the seal on the box. Suddenly, an incomparably mysterious aura spread out from the box. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.